believe.
Look at us now, tip to
Ooh, Jesus.
Shout out to Morning Kombat.
Do you want a margarita? Yes! My God!
Shout out to us doing what we love. But it's time to bang. Oh, yeah, the Chimaev era is upon us. Welcome on into Morning Kombat here to break down all things UFC 319 on this Monday, August 18th of the 25s. Brian Campbell from CT fame and, of course, from the nation's capital, who's ready to join the National Guard and turn on his own people. It's Luke Thomas.
My own people. I support my own people, but I'm ready to turn on everybody else.
Okay. Shout out to that just the same. We're going to have a great show for you today. Not only recapping, of course, what went down in the Windy City on Saturday as the middleweight title changed hands. Aaron Pico got killed.
Not exactly Hendo Hua.
No, not exactly.
Not exactly Hendo Hua.
I mean, Pico tried for that finish, but man, oh my God.
Yeah.
The cigarettes are back in style. Also, we'll look back at 20-year-old heavyweights Moses Itauma's dismantling of Dillian White in one round, dude. Holy shit.
Dude, did Dillian White, I'm serious question, did he land a punch?
Maybe a jab. I didn't see really anything of significance in there. We'll get into that and more. Also, we'll take your DMs. We'll go through my shit to check for kernels. And yeah, we're gonna have a good time today. So why don't you please like and subscribe to what's going on here at the M to the K. Those are our social handles. You can check out our extended personal YouTube channels as well, including that of our producer, director, and co-host of the Main Card Minute. Where would we be, LT, without that horned Aussie? You know what I mean? Without that man who just lusted after them fine American women to produce this man, Luke Nocita. Okay, that was probably a little too far.
Yeah, that was a little too much, guys.
Too
but
weird,
great time. You guys joined me for prop quiz this week. Got a lot of good feedback on it. If anyone hasn't seen it, go check it out.
But don't forget who's the defending champion.
Yeah,
right?
stop the steal is what I have to say. Stop.
Are you going to Jan 6 the next episode?
We're going to Jan 6 it.
Yes.
How's your girlfriend? I know you don't know.
She's great. You know.
All right, that's
reigning
aggressive.
defender.
Long Island Luke, thank you for joining us today. Just one word to describe what we saw in that main event, please.
Domination.
There you go. The
yeah,
nation.
that's one word.
The nation.
I would have
of
picked a different one.
Yeah, I'm so fired up to talk about that. Also, we have a great line of merchandise that is available for you at morningcombat.shop. The August exclusives, there are a few left. Not many, though. We're down to 2 autograph posters for our Super Wash Dad. And check out as well from Average Joe Art, the MK Beavis and Butthead Limited August exclusive. The vaping is for closers shirt. This will not be here in the store at the end of this month. So get into morningcombat.shop right now. We're always adding more evergreen content. And don't forget, you can customize the colors to your exact wishes. So, Luke, I got a lot of orange T-shirts already to match my orange wallet, my orange car.
That's right. You can take that to Lilith
skin.
Fair.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I mean, did you, like, if there's one Lilith Fair act that you had to publicly vouch for, like, which one is it? I mean,
I'm not sure who played at Lilith Fair.
Jewel? Come on, I'll stand by Jewel.
Jewel, yeah, sure. Jewel. Old
like
Snaggletooth McGee.
like McLaughlin and the
Sarah McLaughlin?
I mean,
in the Arms of an Angel? No, I'm good on that.
I mean, look, I was ready to build a mystery with her. There was a point where I was in, but I'm just saying in general.
Who was the one who didn't shave her pits, who had the mummers dance? What was her name?
I don't know. Both Indigo girls? I don't know. I don't know if it was my scene overall, but I watched a lot of MTV content surrounding it. Luke, did you have a nice weekend, or was your weekend dominated by the fights?
Dominated by the fights, but I had a nice weekend. We had some fun with the Tukester. Went to the Arlington Fair. It was a good time.
Oh, nice.
I saw my friend bought a house and moved in, and I did a housewarming, or went to his housewarming party.
Oh, what do you bring for that? Do you bring wine?
Yeah, some wine and some cheese. I don't know if anybody had any of it except me. But
did you cut any silently as you walked through their kitchen?
Did I cut any silently? The first thing I did after I walked in was took a dump in his house.
Okay.
had to christen that boat.
Is that how a man marks his territory in the 25s? There we go.
I'm not running the fan either. Like, I'm letting that one.
No courtesy flushes when you're on the road.
Speaking of cranberries,
right?
I'm gonna let it linger.
Okay.
You understand?
God, Lord, that zombie ass. Wow.
By the way, I've got my death liquid here today.
Yeah, do you lose? What do you think you lose from drinking that? A day at
least a day off your life. This is the Berry Power Bomb, which I guess is a WWE infused or co-promoted, it tastes like the backside of BC's nutsack. It is.
Come drink my Pelota
It is
juice. There it is right there.
horrendous.
It's called C4. It'll kill you. Also, Luke, yesterday I was
so bad.
I was in the city, so I went to the IMAX theater and saw the Grateful Dead movie, that 1974 Going Away concert.
I bet you were sober as shit, huh?
It's funny enough, my ticket was for seat number 8. You know what I mean? It was apropos, but I will tell you that, wow. Okay.
Why were you in the city?
Those that know. Oh, I worked in Stamford Saturday night.
Oh, right.
late,
Okay.
Covering at the CBS Sports studio. So I have to assume that UFC is going to be in my life moving forward.
Seems that way.
Seems that there's the direction that it's headed. So we'll see where that takes us. Let's take us into the recap of this show, and let's get into the first topic right now. Hey, UFC 319 in Chicago didn't give us the fight of the year like we might have thought in this fantastic on-paper matchup for the middleweight championship that on the way out, we talked about Chimaev's dominance. There's also this growing minority of, man, how boring was that? We'll get into all that stuff. But first and foremost, Khamzat Chimaev controlled and physically dominated Dricus Du Plessis en route to unanimous decision 50-44 on all 3 judges' scorecards. Round 3, a 10-8 round as he opened up a cut over the eye of DDP. I don't know if I've seen someone dominated exactly like this thoroughly in a title fight. You know, we've seen quick knockouts, but this was a different story. Luke, how impressive or how impressed should we be by this complete dismantling of a pound-for-pound top fiver who was 9-0 in the UFC and just beating 4 straight current and former champions?
I think if you lose this bad, I don't know if you should still be in the top 10 pound for pound. Can I be honest
The
about
old
that?
Crawford Spence bit, right?
Well, I mean, if he lost 50-44 across the board, should you really be pound for pound if you're losing 50-40? Like, no one should be able to beat you.
I dropped him from 4 to 10 on mine. No, 5 to 10. Number 5 to 10.
Okay, I mean,
Because I did the same thing with Pereira. I'm like, look at the run they had. This was a bad performance. Maybe now for Pereira, we go, well, he was kind of more hurt.
Yeah.
But you don't take that excuse.
Well, I
in
mean, I'll
theory,
just say it's worth thinking about whether you can lose like this and maintain pound for pound status. It's a debate, but it's certainly open to question. I have mixed feelings about this performance.
You didn't enjoy it? I'm not saying the fight was traditionally entertaining, and I'm not standing up for it in that regard, because I understand why people would hate this. But there was some Floyd Mayweather brilliant performances too, where you could say it didn't light up the airwaves, but man, that was fun to watch how he just systematically destroyed that other guy.
I don't really agree. I mean, everyone's going to be different, and everyone's going to have a different feeling about what mattered to them or what they cared about or what stood out. So, like, I'm one of these guys where, like, if you enjoyed it, cool. I don't really have an issue with that. I don't think that's crazy. But I've seen a lot of lecturing, including from fighters who are just completely fucking wrong, saying that if you didn't like this performance and if you didn't like the grappling, you're a casual. I couldn't disagree more. I think that's completely insane and off base. Let's sort of unpack what happened here. First of all, Zippy Hendo who would have this one. So that one, it's not quite as bad.
Okay, but whose fault is that? Is it more the guy doing the mauling?
The majority of the fault goes to DDP.
And his coach. And
yes.
After 4 rounds, they have no answers. Open mouth, kiss each other. Do something to try to spice up the bedroom, right?
Well, I mean, you just have to take risks, at that point.
That's risky.
But the point I would make is clearly the reason why I thought this fight could go bananas is not that you did not think that Khamzat was better in the grappling department. Like, you kind of took that as a given. But the question was, could DDP have enough defensive grappling and then just, assertiveness through the course of a bout to have these bursts of offense and life, and like what could that do to the course of the fight?
Or stay alive long enough to see if this man has that championship round gas tank.
Right.
That's the key.
So there's a few of these things that we were looking for, and he was so deficient in the grappling that we really never got out of first gear.
Yeah.
That was the issue. Offensively, this fight stayed in first gear the entire time. The majority of the blame has to go on DDP. His coach even said that they were not prepared for the mounted crucifix, to which I have to say, well, somebody didn't watch tape, because at Brave 18 in November of 2018 against Marko Kisic, Khamzat Chimaev went exactly into mounted crucifix. You had to have known that this was at least partly something that he would pursue.
Also, that sounds so lame to be like, well, if it wasn't for this one move, we would have won. So you were talking about Dennis's interview on Submission Radio.
Yes.
I think people should check it out. It almost completely exposes that guy without him realizing it.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to realize how bad he comes off, but he comes off bad.
Blaming the fans, blaming the referee. I mean, I thought it was almost gratuitous how they stood that fight up in round 5 and gave DDP
I disagree. I thought the stand-ups
home
were
run chance.
fantastic.
I guess I'd have to rewatch them at the Zapruder
Yeah.
link. You did, but you wouldn't tell me in real time. You weren't like, wait.
No, I was waiting for it. I thought he could have stood him up earlier, actually.
Interesting.
But the point is this. Clearly, the majority of the blame goes to DDP for being unable to extricate himself from seemingly anything. Being on his back, being on his base, standing, leaning up against the fence, one knee leaning up against the fence. He had no ability to, or very little anyway, to remove himself from the situations that he was in. His defensive grappling got audited. What I think is kind of interesting about that, BC, is if this was an interesting moment for all the other contenders, because now you see all the positions that DDP got stuck in. You also have to have an answer for all of them too.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you're going to be back there as well. So it was an interesting revelation, but I just...
Well, it was finally Chimaev being forced to show us
a little bit
the
more
full depth of his game.
Yeah.
Maybe not the full, but a lot more than we knew.
But I have a big problem with the way Chimaev fought this fight, and I'm sorry that I do. He made a concerted, strategic decision, okay? The strategic decision that he made was he was going to keep chest-to-chest or chest-to-back connection, I should say, at basically all times. And there's a good reason for that. It's actually a very smart play. The play is, if you can maintain these kinds of connections, it makes it vastly more difficult for the man underneath to get out of that,
Sure.
right? It is literally a way to put pressure and lay weight on top so that they are stuck in whatever position, either hands to the mat or back to the mat, whatever is being exposed in that moment. If you go back and you watch, there's almost no place when, as long as they're touching one another, and if Chimaev is in a dominant position, where there is distance between his chest and the back or chest of DDP. But the problem with that game plan is that is maximally designed to maintain positional control, which is why it worked so well.
But would you say he looked for a submission when it was there, or are you saying this was more purposeful to basically be like, if you're not going to change this, we're going to go the distance just like
What
this?
I am saying is, if you're going to fight a game plan where you are that aggressively pursuing chest-to-chest and chest-to-back connection, you are making a choice to severely limit any kind of meaningful ground and pound, and you are making a choice to severely limit what kinds of submission opportunities are available to you. He waived on a bunch of different things that were very accessible that he could have gone to because he was more prioritizing the pancaking control. So I have plenty of appreciation for the skill it took to do that kind of a thing. But dude, it's not difficult to imagine. Put your chest on the ground and try and punch around you. There's nothing you can really do. You have to create posture. If you want to pass, for example, Chimaev got stood up in the 5th. When he got stood up in the 5th, BC, he had chest-to-chest contact on DDP. DDP's guard is open, and Chimaev has both knees on the ground. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot pass in MMA with both knees on the ground, and you cannot ground and pound in MMA making chest-to-chest contact. So, what is your offense from there? You made a choice to have minimal offense in favor of maximum positional control, and the audacity, the fucking audacity of people out there, fighters and media alike, being like, if you don't like this, you're a casual. No, you're a fucking casual.
I feel like this drives you nuts.
For asking me to jack off to 21 minutes of positional control. I understand it is skillful, and I don't mind it. But make the argument where it is. That is a choice to minimize your offense in an offense-first sport. I don't have to think that's awesome. You're fucking wrong. Period.
Man, these people live inside of you.
It drives me. I just can't stand the currency
Where does
that
it
we
drive
give
you?
terrible arguments because certain people from authority are just declaring that this is how it is. No, the fuck it isn't.
All right,
no,
well,
the fuck
let
it
me
isn't.
push back a little. You would say, or maybe you wouldn't. He went for it in round 3, getting the 10-8. While there were times in the crucifix where it's just dabbing the side of the head for volume, that seemed to be a time where he prioritized trying to get some elbows in. He didn't cut him. Okay, maybe you didn't see that consistently in that want to end it. But what if he didn't know the true answers to the gas tank issue? And I had some people DM me even before the fight on Saturday and be like, you guys are missing that he fixed his nose and all that's going to be behind him.
DDP or Chimaev?
Chimaev. I don't even know if that's the case. All I know is you truly don't know if you have that 5-round stamina until you're in a crazy fight. What if this was more about that? Basically,
so if you're going to make the choice to maintain those kinds of forms of connection, it doesn't mean that there's no chance you could get something in the submission department, or that there's some kind of errant shot, might not cut him with an elbow from a short distance. For example, Matt Hughes used to get mounted crucifix, and his elbows in that position were so devastating, they would call the fight from there.
Yeah.
So he was able to maintain positional control with dominant ground and pound. But again, it's not an either or question, BC. It's a question of, it's just a range of possibility of what you're limiting. To your point, in that third round, was he opening up a little bit more? Sure. And look at the results. I think that they spoke for themselves. He could have done more offensively and simply chose not to. Now, the point you raised about the cardio, to me, is actually very interesting. Again, if you want to make the argument he was being diligent and patient about his offense, then make that argument. But don't make the argument that that is also simultaneously something that's not offensively muted.
No, it is.
You have to make that argument.
You're right. If he did this 3 or 4 more times in a row, then it would be a totally different conversation about, is there one dominant style that's making this sport boring? People are already doing that, of course, in MMA Twitter, that see, we've got too many, Chechen and Georgian guys. I'm foundationally of the other belief of try and stop it. I know that if he did this 3, 4, 5 more times in a row, he would kill his marketability. You can only be so popular like that. But I'm just talking about from the one time, even though we didn't get the fight of the year candidate or this back and forth action fight, I'm still more of I appreciate the shit about what he just did and showed us. He's got 12 finishes and 15 wins. So we know what his intentions are in fights. I looked at this as a little bit like when he fought Gilbert Burns, and I actually thought he lost that fight. But I thought he unnecessarily was willing to try to show the world that I'm not just a wrestler. I got a backbone. I'll fight to the death too. I am that guy. He showed that. He passed that test. I almost felt like this was the opposite. He wanted to show the world, now that I'm fully healthy, I'm not fighting once a year for 3 out of 4 years. I don't have gas tank issues. I'm ready. This is what I can do to everybody in this division. So look, if he fights his way every time, we're going to have a problem where he's not maximizing his strengths completely. He's killing his potential, crossover stardom. I mean, did you hear the pops before the fight show you the momentum he's on and how badly people want this guy to be for real? I believe he'll go for the finish more in these next fights, but I think he was entering a 5-round fight knowing it could be a war against a guy whose gas tank has never failed him, and he basically said, let me take that strength, that thing that he has over me, let me take it away completely by putting the onus on him. I'm going to gas him out. I'm going to constantly be on top of him. Anywhere he's going to go, I'm going to cut it off, and I'm going to make him force a type of rally that's going to leave him open to make a big mistake.
Yeah, he won on positional control. We're just saying the same thing a different way.
But that is also, to me, was fascinating as shit to watch. You know what I'm saying? I was fascinated by remember when Justin Gaethje was on our show and said if one guy can hold you down, then that means 2 can rape you?
Yeah. I don't understand these arguments from people where it's like, hey, we're not going to count takedowns as offense in MMA, unless you slam them. But we're not going to count takedown in MMA because the reward for the takedown is, well, now you got the fight on the floor because you wanted it there. What is the reward for achieving a control position from which you can do nothing else? This is it. It's just more of the control position. There's a value to that, and I acknowledge it, and it's hard to, can everybody do what Khamzat did if they choose to maintain those same kinds of connection? No. Khamzat is very, very good. But to your point, I think it's also, we should say this. This could be one of those scenarios, BC, where, hey, listen, if Khamzat loses this fight, he's one of the biggest what-ifs in MMA history at that point. There may have been a lot of pressure on him. And so he chose to fight in a way where this was a safer approach to get the dub on route to 25 minutes.
Yep.
But that doesn't make people being like, I didn't necessarily love a safe approach from the guy for being wrong, nor is it us saying necessarily, to the point you raise, hey, listen, he might go out there against, let's make something up, RDR, and just really open up on him on the ground.
Sure.
And pound. Absolutely. But what I'm saying is, in this fight, he made a concerted choice to be offensively conservative. That's just the reality.
I think it was all things at once. I think it was both impressive. I think it was also, to what you're saying, taking a foot off the gas a little bit, where maybe he could have taken a little bit more chances and got the finish. I think he was also, part of him was that artistry of, I want to show you now that I'm finally here exactly what is possible. I can completely shut down your game. Now, Luke.
Yeah, but he has to shut down his in the process.
I totally understand that. Not every fight is going to look like that, because as much as this was super impressive from Chimaev, it was also disappointing to see DDP's performance, to hear from the coach afterwards on Submission Radio and see that they had lack of answers. Is there any potential? Does this one performance that people were not entertained by? I don't think it's going to be the future, but do you think there's anything to these casual Twitter arguments of like, we don't have any American champions, and more we're seeing dominant foreign wrestling dominance? I don't believe that. I think it's cyclical and it's going to come around.
I think the reality is two things are happening. I honestly don't think it matters that Chimaev is not American. I think people can really again, he might go back in his next fight to opening up. And I rewatched some of his other fights, like against the Leech or even Robert Whittaker. He's much more open. So, like, we know he can do it. I'm saying he chose not to. But to your point, I think he can still be a big star in this market, especially now that he can get here, as a big part of it. I don't really believe that. But at the same time, what people are noticing, they're blaming this on other people. But two things are happening at once. There's this ascendancy of guys from, the Caucasus Mountains, that region, where they're all really being able to be great and deliver. And there's also, independent of that, a decline in American MMA. Yeah. That's just the reality. And we've talked about the decline in American amateur wrestling stars because of NIL and all that. There's just a lot less of these elite guys coming over, and they're not going to make a ton of money. And I think it's just you're seeing both. People are like, oh, it's their fault. It's not their fault. It's just a bunch of things are happening at once, and it kind of looks bad for America in that way. Well, part of me is like, okay, I want to see now who can stop this, and we'll get into that. First, let's show some reaction here. This first being UFC President Dana White reacting in the post-fight presser to Khamzat's dominant win.
Did you see before this fight that being the possible way it was going to play out?
No. The lead up to this fight, I said, I bet the main event is the fight of the night. Didn't see that coming, but not shocked either. I mean, you go in and dominate the way that he dominated. If you can do it the first round, more than likely going to do it the second and throughout the rest of the fight.
Yeah. There was a time, and it was in the promos leading up to this fight, you said Khamzat was special, one of the most special guys you've ever seen. Do you think he's lived up to that yet, or does he still have a little ways to go because he's been a bit more inactive since
the night on when we were on Fight Island? He said, I want to fight next Saturday. Ever since then, the guy's been a rocket ship, and obviously is very popular too. People love him. Fighting back here in the United States, and obviously Chicago loved him too.
And what did you think of DDP's performance, right? Obviously, he was outmatched in the wrestling, never gave up, though. Even in the last round, he started landing his own shots. What did you make of DDP and his toughness to survive 5 rounds?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I had every round at 10-8, maybe except for the last round. But to be in the position that he was in and the crucifix and just getting dominated on the ground and punched in the face and elbowed, and it's a very frustrating place to be in. I thought he handled it well and came out every round, trying to get in the fight and try to win. Yeah. Impressive.
On the crucifix, it's a weird one, right? They're landing strikes. He's landing like 200 punches around, but they're not quite hard enough to.
Dana would go on to speak a little bit more on that fight. Yeah, as long as it's sort of a one-off, I don't think this kills the momentum he's built so aggressively and so fast. If you take out a John Jones and a Conor McGregor who are sporadic and only have one or none left each in them, probably, when you look at their star list right now, their valuable assets, Topuria, I feel like is still the most powerful, the most valuable, even if others have been more established longer, like a Makhachev who got the Habib rub. But Khamzat catapults toward the top of that list suddenly. Is he like number 2 in your eyes?
I would not put him ahead of Merab. No. I certainly wouldn't put him ahead of Ilya.
Really? Because he's far more charismatic and headline creating than Merab.
Poetan too. We gotta.
Poetan certainly, with a bounce back, no question.
What is? I'm not sure. I guess I don't understand the criteria.
Who's the most valuable brand
as a promotional entity?
As a promotional entity, not just driving pay-per-view buys, but actually like building momentum of people following.
He's up there. Yeah, he's top 3 certainly among active fighters. I don't really count John or Conor in that way. Yeah, he's top 3 for sure. But I do think that. Listen, people are going to buy his next pay-per-view more than who bought this one, or whatever the metric ends up being. More people will watch. Let's say it's a better way to put it. And again, he could return to form, but I don't think this was just important in crossing the threshold. It was just important in crossing the championship threshold. This is not one I don't think that's necessarily going to stand the test of time.
Yes.
In part because I think some of the other middleweight contenders are going to be a little bit more forceful about resistance.
Well, him not gassing out, him doing this in such
can I ask a question about
thorough detail, I think cancels the questions that I most had about him coming in. So that's very good that we got that question. But I don't know about him staying consistent and healthy and being. This guy needs to start fighting 3 times a year. Like he needs to.
Agreed with that.
He's going to have the rocket ship behind him. He needs to be able to get in there, and that's my biggest hope for him.
My question is this, listen to what I am saying. I am asserting a question. I am not asserting an answer. Some things I feel like I have an answer for. This one I don't, which is clearly apportioning his offense in the way that he did was smart for a 25-minute fight. And the fact that he was able to maintain discipline about that only speaks good of him.
Yeah.
However, is there a question that if he has to disperse his offense and manage his resources this way, he becomes a lot less dangerous?
100%. And that's something that he has to prove to us through evolution, that he can start chipping away at that gap. And I don't think that gap is monster. I mean, whether you thought him or Gilbert Burns won, granted that was welterweight, but same thing with Kamaru. They were very even competitive fights where you saw a lot to love and you saw some things that you questioned. You know, for the Usman fight, it was him sort of, you know, kind of not giving up the round, but like trying to stay up with that same level of stamina. He was gassing and stalling and not at that same force. He showed, at least in this fight, that the 5-round thing probably won't be an issue. But again, if he's in a brawl, we're going to see a lot more of who he actually is. But now it's up to somebody to get him into that brawl. So before we talk exactly about who's next for him, I just wanted to close the book on DDP. This has the potential to be demoralizing, or you can simply say, all right, that's a hole in my game. I've got to level it up. Can he level it up and get right back in and stay in contention and be 1 to 2 wins away from a title shot again to try to right that wrong, no matter who's on the throne at that moment?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's a lot of demand for a rematch. That's not what you're saying. You're saying 1 to 2. Here's the question you have to ask yourself. How far behind is DDP in the wrestling? And of course, the answer is not that you have to get him equal with Khamzat. I don't know if there's enough time in their lives for them to do that. The question you have to ask yourself is, does he have enough time and enough ability to, shut down, let's say, half the takedowns? So he got 12 on DDP. He only gets 6 in a 5-round fight. And that 6 difference is enough to change his competitive fortunes. I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that. I think that I will say this, the gap between them in grappling skill is enormous.
Sure.
It is enormous. This is not a simple fix, which is another reason why his coach being get out there. I know exactly what we have to work on. Well, yeah, because your guy got fucking audited. Like, everybody knows what he has to work on.
Name?
I forget. Can you look that up for us? It's on Submission Radio's YouTube channel. Shouts to Dennis.
Yeah. I mean, it's damaging, but you got to bounce back in a big way. You got to show us.
I mean, it's not like I don't think he's going to beat other good middleweights.
Sure.
Like, for sure I do. But it's a big fucking difference.
His name is Morn Visser.
They got weird names in South Africa, don't they?
I mean, that I don't think he has to change camps, and that's going to be the fix. But they all got to look in the mirror.
Yeah, dude, you got shown up in a big way. You couldn't do anything. I mean, literally, they could do nothing.
Well, that's why I hate when people do the boring thing, because, and I don't hate it from the standpoint of you can't appreciate it if you think it's boring. Like, I'm just doing it from the, like, don't take away from how brilliant that actually is. This dude was a championship elite pound for pound breakout star, and he's laying there like a child.
Like I said, if you told RDR to do exactly what Khamzat did, if you told Fluffy could get closer, but even then, I don't think they could pull off what Khamzat did. What he did was skillful. I just feel like it's not unfair to say he made a choice to give up on the most important kinds of offense that are available, and I'm not a dickhead for noticing that.
All right, who's next for Khamzat opens up a big wad, because we've got a lot of names. You certainly have Renier de Ridder, who's won 4 UFC fights in like 6 months since joining and is on fire and getting better somehow every time. Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, maybe more of a dark horse, but that shutdown performance of Roman Dolidze catapulted him up. The bigger one may be the September #1 contender bout headlining a fight night card between Nasruddin Imavov and Caio Borralho. Let's hear from the new champ regarding how quickly he can come back, when and who and all that, because I can't wait to see who it is. I got opinions about all of them, but here's Khamzat.
Do you still want to turn around and fight in Abu Dhabi?
We'll see what they say.
I'm ready always, so no injuries. Thanks, God.
Who do you think is the most deserving contender to challenge you for that belt first?
I don't care about these things, bro. I just, where they gives the money, I fight anyone.
He had said all fight week he wants to turn around and fight in Abu Dhabi. Is that something you would consider, or do you feel like with the heavyweight title already on that card, like he maybe?
I just had a kid fight Tuesday and wanted to turn around and come here. I would Abu Dhabi. I would definitely consider.
Yeah, and I mean, so many great potential contenders right now, right? We had the great Fluffy win, Renier de Ridder. We have a huge fight in Paris. Are you just kind of waiting for the Paris one and then maybe see the lay of the land of who could be next?
I'm waiting for Tuesday, and then but yeah, I agree with everything you just said.
So, Luke, this is going to be interesting of who gets the nod. We talked at length about this heading into this card. We both felt Nasruddin, even if it's kind of an impressive win, may not have the clout or the company protection or momentum, however you want to phrase it. I think I would want most RDR next. The streak he's on, the fact that naturally he could have that kryptonite on the ground where not only he could prevent that grappling takeover, he could provide a counter threat with the submission that makes that look a lot different. And then I think that striking battle would be very interesting in that fight because RDR is dangerous in weird ways, but maybe that gives Chimaev an opportunity to really show us what he can do there. Who do you think it will be? And who do you want at this point after this fight?
I think my most interesting question is probably going to be Fluffy. For me, I'm going to rank Fluffy, again, not as the number one contender exactly, but in answer to your question, who has the best chance of giving Chimaev? I would pick Chimaev over anybody, I think, right now.
Yes.
But who's got a best chance? I'd say Fluffy 1, maybe Kaio 2. I'm less committed to that one. And maybe RDR 3. And the reason why is on the feet, I certainly think, on the feet, by the way, Chimaev is skillful, but not lights out. Powerful.
He's a little basic. Right?
Basic, powerful. He's powerful, and that counts. But that's not like his ability to meaningfully set up and execute without being defensively vulnerable is suspect.
He's also got to develop that kick game more.
Yes, I totally agreed. I mean, he can punch. I mean, there's no question he can punch. But what I would say is the RDR factor is he's going to get taken down and he's going to get put in bad positions. What you have to bank on is, can RDR do funky jiu-jitsu stuff to counter it? I don't know. I don't know.
That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. I feel like Hernandez has the best chance of making that one real tough for Chimaev down the stretch.
I do feel like, with the Chimaev win, it resets things because, DDP had been on top there for a while and fought all the big names in a row. But I wonder if this helps Fluffy's chances because he brings, as much as RDR is an interesting counter because of the submission game, Fluffy's got the cardio to max, the wrestling to potentially match. I said max, not match. I wonder if this helps him potentially propel. Like, let's say Imavov versus Bohalio is a dud. Imavov gets a somewhat disputed but boring. Let's just say that happens. Could you see Fluffy getting pushed in because he's hot? He represents a interesting, the Mexican American fan base. I mean, there's a couple of things suddenly going in his way that I wonder if this title change made it more possible.
I think they're going to go with what makes the biggest splash. Hernandez is a hardcore fan's delight. I'm not sure how much more on the wider, but here's the problem, dude. Like, are any of these middleweight guys, Kaio, RDR, or Fluffy? Yes, some stand out more than the others, but none is exactly like, am I being wrong, Luke? Which of these contenders that we're talking about here do you feel like has really captured the imagination of the fan base? RDR?
It's got to be RDR, but
Yeah.
I'm
It's
in
not
agreement.
unanimous.
I'm in agreement with you, Luke. I think give the shot to Fluffy next against Chimaev. Do DDP, RDR, and sorry, Kaio, Imavov. You guys are in no man's land until
Dude, DDP RDR has the capacity for, I mean, I wouldn't call it Shogun Hua and Hendo, but I would say cats in a bag.
Yeah,
Two cats in a bag.
It'd be wild cats in a bag stuff going on right there. Damn, this is interesting. Obviously, Sean Strickland is kind of quasi in this mix. He's coming off a loss, though, 2 in his last 3, both against DDP, however. And
Does Strickland have a fight lined up?
he doesn't, but
Okay.
I think that, if he did and could get a quick win
Yes,
here.
that
because
would be interesting.
About the Chimaev calendar, if he comes back October against whoever they put him in, well, if he gets a quick win there, I'm not saying he will, but if he does, you could even bring him back in January for the debut on Paramount if you wanted to, right? Like, 'cause you got to think, you got to put somebody in that main event who's got big time momentum and has a splash. But specifically related to Strickland, we do have Khamzat here responding to the back and forth that they had, or really just, Strickland pumping the Twitter waves with calling him weak, calling him a lot of things. Here's the new champ's reaction.
Okay. Sean Strickland, your old friend, has been tweeting about you since the fight. He said that when you were in the gym together, he would actually out-wrestle you and be better than you in the wrestling over 4 rounds.
Bro, Dricus take him down many times, but how can he take me down, bro? Come on. This guy, I beat him everywhere and striking, but this guy just talk too much. So he's a funny guy. He's working with, what is his name? Buratino, or what is it?
Yeah, Paulo Costa.
Yeah, Paulo. I make them together.
I what them together?
I'll make them together. He'll beat them both on the same night right there. That is, I kind of wish Strickland, I mean, it would have to be like a loser leaves title contention, which it probably would be anyway if he had a shot here, but I don't want it coming off of a loss. I'd love to see him have to prove it. There are other guys that are more deserving. Let's hear Fluffy, who was there in Chicago and was interviewed backstage afterwards about if he could get the shot next.
Tell me your thoughts on what we saw. Khamzat Chimaev is the new champion of the middleweight division.
Congratulations to him. It's a fucking pretty boring fight, I'm not gonna lie. But, man, call me for the fight. I can wrestle, I can do jiu-jitsu, I can stop all this shit, and I can shut him down. And, like, with my gas tank, man, I'll drown him, I promise. I'll make him fucking work. So, call me, keep me in mind, guys, and I think you guys will have a new fucking Mexican-American champion.
Dude, I wonder.
Is he the real Cain Velasquez?
I
You know
wonder
what I mean?
if they watched, if the UFC brass watches that and is like, he's fucking right.
He might be right.
This is the 2 alpha fight that we thought the DDP versus Chimaev fight was, because we thought it would be more just in the mix of everything and the recklessness. But no, this one has that potential to be more about just high pace, both having the same skill sets in some ways. That's a dogfight, dude. That's a dogfight.
And also, here's a very basic question. No one is going to argue that Hernandez is a better wrestler than Chimaev. Certainly, I would not make that argument. But if it ends up coming down to being, because Chimaev gets tired, a labor issue, Fluffy's going to win that one 10 times out of 10.
Yeah.
That's an interesting fight to me. Also, we have Kaio giving sound for...
We're getting there. I did want to ask you before we show Kaio here, who is the best dance partner if they were going to save Chimaev for the debut Paramount card? Who brings the most name value? Who brings the most potential?
Strickland.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Strickland.
That is right. If that's going to be their first CBS live type of deal, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
That would
he could
be
come back in
huge.
October. Here is the aforementioned Kaio Bohalio talking about him being the guy to beat Khamzat.
We see 529 total strikes landed, 21 minutes of ground control, but you see a lot of fans out there calling it boring, not exciting. What did you think?
I think he did what he always does,
connection.
but this time he didn't finish. So when a grappler comes and just hug the guys and he doesn't finish, it becomes a boring fight. Spent 1 month in his training camp when he was in All Stars over there, and I know very well how he works, his system and everything. And I think have advantage between all the middleweight fighters. I think I'm the one that have advantage to beat him, because I know what exactly he's doing, what exactly is his system, and all the steps that he needs to go through and how to deny these steps. So I'm very respectful for Khamzat. He's like a brother for me, but at this time, at this point, at this level of the competition, it's me and him, you know.
This talk, maybe Khamzat will turn around for Abu Dhabi. Would you be open to fighting and then fighting again that soon, or would you maybe have him fight someone else, then you get the winner?
To be honest, if somebody offered Imavov to fight Khamzat, he would say no right now, because he was mopped in the floor by Khamzat when they trained together. So, to be honest with you, if the UFC comes to me right now and say, fuck Imavov, he's a guy that gives us a lot of work. He didn't want to fight on International Fight Week. He called the backup as a leftover. He's like, he don't respect the UFC. So, fuck Imavov. Fuck Paris, go prepare to fight Khamzat in October. I'm ready. If the UFC offer me this, I would say yes right away.
Dude, this is going to make their fight in Paris in September, him and Imavov,
Can't
it's going to
wait.
be electric, because
Can't
they
wait.
both know that, like Lerone Murphy, who we're going to talk about in a second, you can turn your reputation in an instance with a badass finish or a breakthrough win right there. So
You're right there.
Damn, this is
And I
great.
think Kaio, to me, doesn't sound like he doesn't believe he can win this. Neither they are convinced
sounds badass.
they
right
can
there.
win this. Yeah, I love
can't
it.
say
What's
his
your
name.
guys' opinion on Kaio weighing in as the backup 2 weeks before he's headlining?
Yeah, I don't like that.
Probably a mistake.
I don't like
Right?
that.
Probably a mistake.
I'm a little
May not be a fatal one, but a mistake.
Yeah. All right. Hey, by the way, you want to talk about timing? Put the camera on me. Now is a good time as ever to remember where Tequila's story truly began. Let's go back to 1795. Cuervo invented tequila. Since then, Cuervo has stayed true to its roots. Same family, the same land, that same passion, just the same. 230 years later, Cuervo is still right here in every pour, in every margarita, in every celebration. So enjoy the tequila that started it all. Cuervo, the tequila that invented tequila. ProximoCuervo.com. Please drink responsibly. And once again, thanks to Matt Frivola, who joined us for UFC 319 pregame preview brought to you by Cuervo. What's our next pay-per-view here? UFC 320?
Well, it's not till October. So the next big pay-per-view is Canelo Crawford. But a next big MMA pay-per-view is not till October.
So it's the last week of September? And then it turns October. So that's
Second,
UFC 320 Abu Dhabi.
That's right.
Ankalaev versus Pereira 2.
Yep.
And then Merab versus Corey Sandhagen.
Yep. Great
Let's
fight.
go.
Great fight.
That's going to be a big pregame preview as well. Fired up for that one. All right. Topic number 2 takes us to the co-main event on Saturday, which could have been a debuting coronation for Aaron Pico into true featherweight title contention and a potential gift to the promotion, as we talked about coming in. But oh, by the way, last minute opponent Lerone Murphy was 16-0-1. And that became 17 in such a shocking, violent, massive way. After a first round in which Pico very aggressively, if not over-aggressively, brought the offense to Murphy late in that round with his back to the cage, he unleashed a KO of the year, like spinning back fist KO, spinning back elbow, the 10th in promotional history, and back-to-back fights after Carlos Prates did it the one before. Holy shit, it was one of those type of moments that Dana White deals. How much does a win like this do for Lerone Murphy's promotional development, considering I thought this was a chance for the UFC to get rid of the problems with where do we put this guy? This is a new guy, Luke. Holy shit. That's got to be overnight changing your fortunes in a massive way.
I don't know if there was anyone else short of the champ, I don't know if there was anyone else on the roster they could have matched him up with that would have yielded as promotionally valuable a result as this one, right? Because Pico had a ton of hype coming in. Murphy, I think people begrudgingly, not us, but others, begrudgingly respected him, but, didn't think that he was necessarily even dangerous.
Behind Evloev in that begrudging, what I mean? Like he was the fill-in for the guy that people didn't want in that
That's
spot.
Exactly right. And, a bit of an unknown figure to most, to be perfectly honest. You could have matched him up with Movsar, but would have you gotten an electric win like this? You could have matched him up with Yair, and that would have been good, but I don't think he's going to fight Yair like this. So the point I'm trying to make is you got a promotional darling to make himself vulnerable in such a way where Murphy got the most electric win of his career at the most important juncture. I think he's 36. Again,
is he?
Yep, 30. I believe that's
Well,
right.
no, look, is Lerone Murphy 36?
That sounds way too old.
I think he's no way.
Look that up. Look that up.
I'm offended by that.
Maybe
That is
34? What is he?
33, probably.
I'm typing, guys. Give me a second.
I mean, this should be quick or long.
I'm on a phone. It's
I get in
small.
trouble for the 2-hour shows here.
I click the Wikipedia. He's 34.
34. Okay. Getting up there.
It's time.
It's time is the point I'm trying to make. This was, it could not have gone better for him.
This was like, what's his name? Head kicking Kamaru in the rematch. Leon Edwards, in terms of turning your fate. Only that was for the championship.
Yeah. I mean, although he was getting thrashed in that fight a little bit.
Sure.
And it was competitive in spots, but whatever. This was so good for him. It's worst case scenario for Aaron Pico. Honestly, it is.
It really is.
And this is best case scenario for Lerone Murphy. It is that stark and that different. And honestly, BC, good for him, man, because I just don't know what other combination they could have given him that would have just catapulted him in the way that he did. And one more time, he took this fight on 3 weeks' notice.
Damn.
He traveled, made weight, and got a first-round KO. What more can you ask from a guy?
And he weathered the storm of Pico's over-aggressiveness, but it was at times effective over-aggressiveness when he's landing those big-time hooks to the body. He took Murphy down, landed some kind of heavy ground and pound, looked like that contracted, hitman right there. But if you noticed, his advances increasingly got a little more reckless. He got checked by a left hand when he went in for a double leg. He caught a knee to the face. And it started to be like, okay, Murphy's picking this up. Still, holy shit, that was a violent finish. I mean, Pico was down so long. Did you see the Daniel Cormier video he put out where he was like,
tell him about
from
it.
Our vantage point, it took 4 people to come in upwards of 4 minutes to get the mouthpiece out. He was out for, over 4 minutes. I know he put out a statement that on Instagram that was like, you know, I've been here before. I'm going to bounce back. This is just a loss. It's a setback. As much as this was the most insane, greatest thing that could ever happen to Lerone Murphy, I can't imagine a worst case scenario. And at the same time, it wasn't a lucky shot. He was doing the things that got him in trouble back when he was originally climbing. And while that last 9-fight stretch, he had repaired it, this is a higher level of competition. I know it's something we debated during the pregame preview.
I was right.
He brought it, you know, what can you say? He brought it on himself. He was over aggressive. He was effective. Now he was knocked out cold. And I don't even know about his future, Luke. I really don't. I don't really know how you pick this up.
I mean, it's going to sound hyperbolic, but we were right to note that on the pregame preview, like, dude, Lerone, we said it about Movsar, but Movsar's not a big puncher or even, you know, a very capable striker in that way.
Yeah.
So the argument was the same, which was you've never fought anyone remotely this good, but the threat of Movsar is different.
Who can make you pay on that badly.
Right. And it's just a different threat. Like, he's going to wrestle you and blah, blah, blah. But Murphy's threat, and I didn't think he was going to be a big KO threat. I thought he'd be able to touch and go and be hard to find. But then when you just roll up on a guy like this so recklessly, look what happens. BC, let's just say it out loud. Like, Pico is a very, very nice young man, and he's only 28. That part is true. But his career's in trouble.
Are you like saying get into modeling now?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not even saying he won't come back and get some nice wins. I think he will. But the amount of damage he's taken has compromised his ability to absorb further damage.
Feels like Amir Khan.
And the thing that got me was like, dude, you got in trouble in MMA for rushing your offense when it wasn't the rest. And partly the rest of his game wasn't ready, but still rushing. And in your UFC debut, you're still doing this.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, I don't know what to say, but like, how can you be repeating these kinds of mistakes unnecessarily?
I mean, I was wrong, of course. I just never thought he would go back to that way of creating that mistake, that opening.
Right, take your time.
Take your time. I mean, slowly wrestle him, wear him out a little bit, lean on that, all that.
It wasn't like Murphy marched over across the cage and then like forced him into a firefight. He was the one doing this. It just is, the decision-making is poor. The consequences are catastrophic. His career's in trouble. It's in trouble. It's not over, but it's in trouble.
You would almost need a complete defensive overhaul. It's not just.
But haven't we done this?
We've been through this, yeah. And it's only the returns are only.
He tried to stagger step like his way in, and then by the time he gets hit, he's square. It's
your heart broke for him, didn't it? Your heart broke for him. It's what happens in this game. But holy shit,
it did break for him. But at the same time, it's like I don't know what to say to people. Like,
damn. Well, considering the trash talk between Pico and Volkanovski leading up to this fight, we felt like we had the perfect transition into a red-hot matchup that we need to see. Luckily for Lerone Murphy, he's transitioned us pretty excitingly, and maybe not on the level of what we would expect out of Pico versus Volk, but now we need to recalibrate how difficult a matchup potentially 34-year-old Lerone Murphy will be for the two-time champion. First, let's hear from Murphy at the post-fight presser, repeating what he did in the cage, which was calling out the champ.
And again, nothing is concrete in this game, but you have the featherweight champion of the world calling you out for a fight in December. Alex Volkanovski wants to fight you. It seems like you've done enough at this stage. Is that the fight, and is that the timeline you would like to do?
That December would be perfect for me. Gives me time to recharge, spend some time with the family, and then work on some bits and get better and come back better. December would be great to share the octagon with Volkanovski, one of the featherweight GOATs. Adding another scalp to my already quality resume. I'm 9 fights undefeated now, yeah?
You know better than me.
Yeah. So I've had 10 fights in the UFC now, 1 draw, 9 wins. It's time for a title fight.
Hard to debate that at all, in fact, and he's never been sexier in that regard. Luke, before we throw to Dana White, how much of a threat is he to the title after that performance?
I would not favor him to beat Volkanovski, but I think he's a worthy adversary that could surprise. I wouldn't bet on him, but I would not dismiss him as some kind of overmatched nothing. I don't think that's right.
And nobody's got a stronger case of featherweight right now, unless you want to go back to Evlov, who just pulled out of the fight. So no, you're not.
Yeah, Movsar, if in a different circumstance, would be the guy, but not now.
No. So
do you guys think if Gian Silva beats Diego Lopez in a month?
So that's the X factor
that
for me.
opens up a sex factor.
If he goes in there and fucks Diego Lopez up, he's gonna jump the queue, maybe.
Yeah, but how could it be a sexier finish than he just did that to the potential new golden child?
Gian Silva,
he fucks. Yeah, come on.
He fucks.
Yeah.
So it's a tall order, but let's see. Let's see.
Okay,
Let's see how
hear
that
from
goes.
the boss. Here's Dana White reacting to the idea of Volk versus Murphy.
Alex Volkanovski has said he would like to fight him in December. It's not often you see a champion calling out the challenger. Could be interested.
I love it.
And here's the tweet. Okay, there we go. That's it. That's all we need to hear. Here's the tweet in mention. Volk came right out after that call out in the cage. See you in December, Lerone Murphy. Congrats.
He's looking for it. He's
Let's
itching to
go.
get back out there. Yeah.
Volk also recorded a video since then in his car talking about this matchup.
A lot of people are going to be like, Movsar should be there. It's like, hey, I tried. I'm going to tell you right now, I tried to make that happen. I thought he deserves it. He did deserve it. He had this fight, and then I'm like, all right, he's going to have to do this fight, and then he definitely gets it. And then he pulled out, and you know what the UFC's like with things like that. Maybe they try to push it back because they pushed the date further, and he still didn't do it. Maybe it was a serious injury. I'm not sure. I don't know what it is. Maybe that's why he can't fight as well. I don't know. But, it doesn't look like it's going to be a Movsar. But, I've tried with all of them, but now it looks like it's a Lerone Murphy. It makes a lot of sense. So let's do Lerone Murphy December.
Sounds good to me, Volk. Do you think if Aljo beats Ortega on Saturday, that he catapults back into this conversation, or does the loss to Evloev, even though it was competitive, hold him back?
Sterling could make a little noise, but I just feel like it's the kind of matchup where it's going to be really hard to do that. And it's in China, and it's at 6 a.m. They're not exactly setting him up. They're not setting him up to fail, but they're not. This is a little bit of swimming upstream in order to get what you want. It can be done, but it would have to be extremely impressive. Again, to your point,
Aljo's lost a couple of really close ones in this division, right?
and he lost to Movsar in a very fun-ass fight. So that's the other part, too. But, again, dude, Lerone Murphy doesn't have the name recognition that Aljo had, but he's got an arguable KO of the year contender, and that's just going to be really tough to beat.
To close the book on Pico, does this play into the argument that those coming from Bellator or PFL, have a hard time? You can always argue back and say that Eddie Alvarez became champion. There's always going to be, but on this recent run, which includes Patricio Pitbull, losing in his UFC debut in a spot where he could have gone over and maybe become a title contender, does this play into that thread at all?
I think to a degree it does. People overstate it because the problem with the argument is that they made it for Strikeforce and it was totally untrue. They made it for WEC and it was totally untrue.
Those guys were the leaders.
And trust me, they were saying, if you weren't around back then, I was, and they were saying the exact same things. So partly you roll your eyes a little bit at it. However, and also too, like Kayla Harrison came from PFL. She's 3-0 and she's a champion. There's people you can point to that have done well, but for the Bellator guys, it hurts a little bit. Again, you got post-prime Pitbull, and he did rescue himself against Danny Ige. But it hasn't.
MVP's doing something. MVP's doing things.
MVP's out there, making some noise and that kind of stuff. But in other words, I will say this: by the time that Bellator was created, the difference between UFC and Strikeforce was not nearly as pronounced as the difference between UFC and Bellator. And so you wouldn't want to say, oh, because he fought in Bellator, he can't compete. They also match made him real tough. Let's be honest about that. But I think it's not a. Yeah, there's a difference.
I think the Michael Chandler experience overall is a success story as an ex-Bellator.
Promotionally, it's a big success story. A lot of guys got nice wins off of him,
Multiple title
and
shots.
his 2 wins, the Hooker and Ferguson win, are devastating KOs.
Yes, and he's been in countless Fight of the Year contenders. It's like a holiday when he's fighting that you're going to get an absolute brawl against a fellow veteran. So that closes out the co-main. Let's go to topic number 3, which was the rest of the UFC 319 main card, which produced some really big finishes and none more than the first of back-to-back spinning elbow KOs. Only this time it was from a refurbished Carlos Prates, fresh off that loss to Ian Machado Gary over in their sort of number one contenders bout, or at least it felt a quasi version of that, where he looked bad early, good late. he came in, and you can tell he did the hard work in terms of the cardio, squaring off against Geoff Neal, overwhelming him a bit early with the striking, but once he started to pick away, hurt Neal, and then set him up for that devastating spinning back elbow that floored Neal, blood coming out of the side of his head. Luke, how redemptive was this? Does this erase any step back against Gary and now make him look better than ever? And oh, by the way, still flaunting the cigarettes, like not even,
so
avoiding
fucking
it.
awesome.
Like, kids, this is how you can get ahead just like me. And like, yo, I'm going to be drinking for 3 to 4 days before I start.
The fucking Bill Hicks,
Damn.
the fucking Bill Hicks of UFC.
Yeah, only it's cool. It's fucking cool as shit, too. This guy's on fire. The aura, man.
Well, Bill Hicks was pretty cool. But to your point, this was huge. You don't want to overstate one thing. I still think, BC, people are going to look at Carlos Prates and they're going to say, well, there might be some other questions about exactly how good he can be. But what I loved in this fight is not just that he had that devastating win. BC, he was setting it up the whole time, how creatively and how massively he was spreading out his targets of attack. Leg kick, front kick, a jab, cross, uppercut, hook.
He's not just speed and power.
Right.
He's putting the game
and
together.
he's going head, body, leg, head, body. He's just mixing it up. And then finally, like the fighting nerds do, they put a little bit of sauce on that before they serve it to you. And it's tremendous. So what I'm saying is people will focus on the finish and be like, wasn't that great? Sure. But the stuff he was doing before that
Wasn't that great?
Huh?
Wasn't that great?
No, I'm saying they will say wasn't that great.
The stuff he was doing leading up to it.
Yes, of course it was. But I'm saying the stuff in the lead up to it with the targets diversity and the striking diversity, that's what I wanted to see, and that's what enabled the finish. And dude, no one has put out Geoff Neal like that. Tremendous
so it shows
win.
you like he's even more dangerous than maybe we thought. You know what I mean? I think he's going to learn the lessons from not sticking to the game plan in that Ian Gary fight and freestyling maybe a little bit too much. But he's not going to stop smoking cigarettes. This of Prates at the presser afterwards was just, it was art.
Team Fighting Nerds went 3-0 today, so I guess how's the team back there after Carini's win?
He looks like a mechanic in, I don't know, pick any part of any what you want to call it, like any junkyard filled with scraps,
Dude, should they, in your eyes, given that the UFC really doesn't silence or police people, you can say what you want, you can almost do what you want.
Well,
should they give him the Ricardo Mayorga treatment and allow him in the post-fight interviews in the cage to light up right there and sort of not worry about the message and all that? Just like
yes, they should.
He's living the life, dude. He said he's going to need to party for 4 days before he even talks about his next fight.
Well, we got a little bit of footage of that too, but yes, they should. They should absolutely lean into this. Yes.
Oh my God! Here's Carlos Prates partying afterwards.
That's me after 3 margaritas. Except no one's cheering for me. The whole Showtime staff is at home.
Dude, Long Island Luke from like the hardcore fans' favorite fighters. Like, did he just make the bleep right there?
Yeah, and I was not rooting. I was on Geoff Neal though in this fight, and I gotta say, all week I was like, Carlos Prates might be one of my favorite fighters.
He's fucking great.
He's great.
Geoff Neal's hard. It's hard to do that too, dude. He looked like, damn. I mean, he was.
And that was the other part too. Did you guys not notice that Geoff Neal looked so much faster than him?
Yes, it was competitive early, and before Prates started to find his mark, and there. I mean, that's a.
Did you guys see that clip after Neal gets finished of Ramiz Brahimaj in the crowd?
No.
Gilbert Burns was like obviously recording something, and Gilbert was mic'd up, and Ramiz starts yelling, "Safe fucking ruined his career." Safe Saud, and Ramiz is a Fortis guy too. I don't know any details behind it, but
maybe was.
That's some real inside baseball there in the MMA gym wars. Wow. Luke, let's continue on down the card to now middleweight, but he is open to going back to welterweight, and that's Michael Venom Page. Excuse me. I thought he might come into trouble against a 41-year-old Jared Cannonier who was figuring out how to really use his toughness and his brawling ability to his advantage, like the last fight against Hobocop. This went much differently, as not only MVP was able to do MVP things, but with a noticeably bigger body, which didn't slow him down at all. He was even able to drop Cannonier a couple times, land clean combinations, and almost just clown him ultimately. Afterwards, MVP is talking about the idea of a return to welterweight, the potential of a quick turnaround against, who's he linked to? No, it's fallen out of my memory. Who did he call out afterwards?
Who?
MVP.
Well, there was talk of him fighting Prates.
That's what, we were just talking about. Exactly. I was like, I was missing it in real time there. what do you make first of this victory? And do you think the welterweight path or the 88.5 path could be more fruitful here for?
Well, I mean, I don't know the answer to that, because I feel like any kind of true escalation in either direction is impossible. You know, you're not going to beat Rachmanov. You're not going to beat Sean Brady at 170. It's just not going to happen. There's other ones you could probably. I mean, you already fought Ian Gary.
So you can give your name for money against Prates, but you do have a shot of beating that guy.
Yes, for sure him. But then at 85, look who's at the top there. Khamzat's up there and Fluffy's up there. Like, those guys are fucking nightmare matchups for MVP. So, like, the ultimate destination is not really achievable in either direction. So which direction do you go? I would say whichever one gives you the most fun fights on a time agreeable to your calendar, and, you know, to an extent that money changes depending on the matchup, do that. I honestly don't think it really matters too much beyond that, because how far can you actually go? By the way, he's not far from 40 himself. He's getting up there as well.
He said in the cage before the protest conversation really got going that if I can get another fun offer at middleweight like this, I'd take it in a heartbeat.
Right.
There are a lot of big names coming down.
Yes, there's that as well. So to me, it's like, listen, as long as you can stay in fun, relevant fights on big cards, if it's 170, do that. If it's 185, do that. But I don't think there has to be, it's not much more complicated than that.
So the protest quick turnaround would be in Brazil. That would be crazy to fight that dude in Brazil. Wow. Here's MVP taking to the mic and talking about which veteran middleweight he might prefer to fight next if that falls through.
You just beat the number 9 guy at middleweight. I'm going to throw a couple names at you, and you tell me what you think about it. We got Robert Whittaker and we got Sean Strickland. What do you think about those two?
Oh, take either one. Robert Whittaker, I'm a massive fan of. I love his style. I love his just how he fights up and down. What a great fight. You know, the similarities in our styles. What a great fight. Strickland is just a beast, a walk forward. He's going to want to just take those shots. But again, a great fight. I want big names. I want big fights, and you just named 2 people. I'm 100% in.
The Strickland fight could be wild. Strickland would take those shots and keep coming on. He would be the Forrest Griffin to the Anderson Silva.
That would be a hell of a difference, too, with one guy marching him down and kind of deflecting, the other guy just having to, you know, leap in all the time.
Okay, what about the ultimate Spider-Man meme fight? MVP versus Izzy.
I don't know that they would.
They're boys. They said they would only fight if there was a shitload, quote unquote, shitload of money on the table.
Yes. And also they would kind of circle and not commit, right? It would be like the ultimate.
I mean, Izzy is definitely not going to like bite down on the mouthpiece against a guy like that. Yeah. You know, he's going to play it smart. So, if they would make it, I wouldn't hate it. It just seems unlikely,
especially compared to the other potential opportunities there. Hey, good win for MVP, and we'll see. He'll have his offers right now.
I will say, because his game is so predicated on speed and reflexes, I thought he would have fallen off by now. But he has found some interesting longevity. You got to give him credit.
He's a threat with that extra speed advantage at middleweight.
He is much faster than these guys. It's very, very interesting to see.
Do you think he was hitting hard, or he was just landing so clean so quickly on camera?
I think his punches have almost like a pushing effect. Because when you watch the replay, they do make like pretty good contact, but he's not like whipping people's chins past their shoulder. He's more like hitting them, and then they lose their balance in the process, and then they get back up. So it's like the charging almost has like a pushing effect.
That's a fair point. So he does kind of fight in like in the old Batman TV show when you'd punch it on the screen and be like pow.
Yeah, it's called onomatopoeia.
Yeah, he fights in a very onomatopoeia style. Okay. Hey, how about 38-year-old Tim Elliott kicking off the main card against a Kai Asakura who had lost his UFC debut but in a title fight against Pantoja? 2 years removed, this veteran Tim Elliott, who of course was caught up in that weird divorce love triangle on Twitter, put all of that away, came back, and was in probably the best shape of his career, was dynamic at times, fought smart at times, and then he goes in there and gets a damn submission victory over Kai Asakura. Luke, this was a flowing Tim Elliott who had longer hair during the press things this week, shaved it off, and then sat in the corner as the cameras came to him after the victory and was like a G, was like, I love this shit. It felt good to see the old guy get the win, but like the old guy looked maybe as good as he looked since the Demetrius Johnson fight.
Very impressive. And at first, too, you know, I thought, okay, Asakura lost to Pantoja. All right, well, that's Pantoja. You know what I mean? Like, what you going to do, you know? But he shows up here, and Elliott at first is doing, you know, and like fart
real
noises.
Weird shit.
Yeah, I didn't love it. But if you watch the final sequence, you got Asakura, who is prone to charge at times, charging and he's able to get underneath that for the takedown, and then he just had basically superior grappling from there on out. Like I don't know to what extent he baited him, but it looked like he baited him a little bit, or it kind of encouraged him to go into a little bit more of a defensively vulnerable charge. Dude, he's crafty. Like Tim Elliott was one of the first guys, by the way, and I say this not pejoratively. Tim Elliott was one of the first guys being like, I'm definitely going to foul people a couple times about because they don't take a point. So why wouldn't you? And I'm like, right. That's exactly right. Like, why the fuck wouldn't you? He plays the game, BC, in a way where you think, oh, well, he's not very good because he plays the game that way. But it turns out, like, in certain dimensions, he does actually have some pretty considerable skill, and he'll play it in a veteran way. He didn't need to do that so much in this particular sense. But again, all of those, like, doing the robot shit, I think it threw off Asakura a little bit. And look at the result.
He'll deserve a pretty high ranked guy after this win. I mean, it was very redemptive.
And also for people being like, oh, well, Demetrius didn't beat, he beat Tim Elliott. How good is that Tim Elliott? Tim Elliott's pretty fucking good, actually.
He's definitely traded wins and losses in ways that made him, journeyman or gatekeeper level in recent years. But this was a step up and a very step forward victory.
Although Asakura coming from Ryzen has been a huge disappointment.
That's the flip side of it. So how big of a disappointment? I mean, it puts him into the middle of the pack or worse. It's not something that, 2 to 3 consecutive wins can't fix. But I also wasn't impressed ultimately with his ability to find ways to exert dominance in the face of Elliott's awkwardness. I mean, he had significant trouble with that.
Yes. No, there's simply no question. He didn't really know how to deal with it, to be honest with you. And he's a good puncher, and he can be a good wrestler, but I don't know. He's been disappointing in his UFC run. I'll put it that way.
Long Island Luke, can you give me confidence that Kai will bounce back?
I think he's still a viable option. How about like Kai versus Steve Erceg? That sounds fun to me. I think it's a winnable fight for both guys. Both guys kind of need. I mean, I know Steve just won, but he still needs like a little bump up.
I mean, the loser gets really set back, but that's why those fights happen.
Yeah, I mean, the loser would be in terrible position at that point, but you could do it.
Where's Askarov when we need him?
He's with Zabit. Hanging out
the winner's circle. Yeah,
hanging out with Cole Conrad.
All right, that was the main card, but I want to talk to you something about rivalries. Okay, big time rivalries. I'm talking about the kind that produce highlight reels, the kind that produce breakout stars. Yeah, college football is back, and it's back with a bang. And now is your time to score big on Pick 6 with DraftKings. Pick your favorite players, quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and more, and just hit more or less on 2 or more player stats. We're talking about passes attempted, touchdowns, rushing yards. If you feel like you have the edge, then jump on into what's going on with DraftKings Pick 6 in this college football season. And Luke, the traditional powers will be there. Not only the big SEC schools are ranked in the top 10 preseason. Penn State's back. How about Texas with Heisman favorite Arch Manning?
Arch Manning.
Are we going to add him to to that legendary family, or has he already authored a bit of that? I mean, is he a household name in your household?
No, I don't think anyone in my household knows who he is.
Okay.
And what's in any capacity whatsoever.
Does he look as doofy as Uncle Eli, or did I just
No, he doesn't look as doofy as Eli or Peyton.
Okay, but your Valdosta background tells you vote SEC this year.
I'm always one of these guys who they overcomplicate it. They're like, Oregon's good this year, Penn State's good this year, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I bet Alabama's better.
Yeah, I think so.
Probably.
I think so. Well, if you think you know more than we do, and you might, why don't you chase that upside, because it's massive. Outplay the field, and Pick 6 dishes out payouts way beyond the minimum. And if you're new to DraftKings, just drop $5 on your first pick, and you'll score $50 in Pick 6 bonus picks. Ain't that right, Luke Thomas?
Yes, indeed you will. So download the DraftKings Pick 6 app as BC indicated. Use the code KOMBAT to get $50 in Pick 6 bonus bets and ride the upside with Pick 6 all season long. Pick players, stack upside, build your bag in partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 8887-897777 or visit ccpg.org. In Connecticut, must be 18 plus, age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. Bonuses awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Ends August 24th, 2025 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Picks at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Well said, Luke, right there. Well done.
I can read.
Yes, I can
in the
read
English
really
language.
Bad. Wow, let's keep it going, though. Topic number 4 takes us to what else happened at UFC 319 on the prelims. And early prelims, hey, how about Chase Hooper bringing that 5-fight win streak at lightweight and really becoming a prospect until he ran into Alexander Hernandez, and he ran into him in a big way. I think it's fair to really call out the lack of striking in this one by Hooper because he was getting pieced up, and then he got lit up with 1 second to go in the first round. How improved is Alexander Hernandez, who we've seen at this level before? We've seen him fall apart before. This looked like the best of him all over again.
I don't know because Chase Hooper is massively improved, and he looked huge, by the way, in this fight too. Like just
he was
physically.
massively improved, but now it's Hernandez on the 3-fight win streak.
By the way, he's been in the UFC for like I don't know how many years now, and they're almost 10, not quite maybe. And this is his first 3-fight win streak. Keep that in mind. That's actually kind of nuts that it took him this long to get it, especially since his first 2 fights in the UFC were back-to-back knockout wins over AOM and Benil Dariush. But
wait, wasn't the OAM a decision?
Or, it was a big win. But the Dariush one was a big KO.
Did the colors just change in here?
Yeah, they did just change in here. Way to go.
All right.
It was Ken's fault. Sorry, guys.
Somebody's got gummies in their tummy, and they came to work anyway.
I think it's a prerequisite in that.
Yeah, but I was going to say, I don't know if I learned a whole lot new. I mean, he comes prepared. He fights more disciplined, and he fights smarter, and we saw evidence of that. But Chase Hooper, like, I have to go back and review the tape, but it felt to me like his mechanics, he did the Benson Henderson jab, where they lead with the elbow and then extend like they're doing a tricep flex, which is inherently a much slower way to reach the target. And that's where he got countered. And it's like...
So it's more about Chase Hooper falling apart so disastrously, is probably the better word.
I need to double check. I haven't gone back and rewatched this fight enough to declare exactly what got him into trouble, but I feel like he was getting timed, and therefore that's how he got countered. So it's a good job. It's a good job by Hernandez. But if a guy's got big defensive flaws, you got to be a little bit careful about overstating the upside.
I think I have video that could prove the reason why he got caught. Long Island Luke, are you able to pull that Chase Hooper video from Have You Seen This Shit?
Yeah, do you know what number it is?
Oh.
Do you know what number it is?
I don't know. I mean, look at shit, How about it's
You should have seen the outhouse.
Forget it. All right, we'll forget.
You should have seen the porta potty I went to at the Arlington Fair.
I don't want to.
It looked like the inside looked like the cover of a Cannibal Corpse album. You understand?
I really don't like this conversation. Luke Lupe Godinez went in there in a pretty good all-action back and forth with Jessica Andrade. I was entertained. Godinez would get the close nod on the scorecards. How ready is the Mexican for a title shot at Straw? You're not serious, are you?
I don't know, but that was a pretty good performance. Don't you agree? Dude, here's what I was going to say. Like, Lupe was teeing off on her, using great footwork, clearly landed the more impactful strikes, despite the one being on the back foot for the majority of that bout. And I thought, in general, just fought a really smart and, offensively capable contest. What stood out to me, though, BC, was less, definitely impressed with Godinez.
It's only 2 wins in a row, though, so I'm not
exactly
fitting her the crown.
But here's the thing for me. Jessica Andrade looks like she's given up a little bit. And what I mean by that is not that she doesn't go in there and try to win. She does. But it doesn't look like she is attempting to technically improve at all, right? You go in and you watch her. She's still throwing these like wild-ass arm punches well into round 3. And that doesn't mean she's not dangerous. We know she can punch. We know she's strong. But it does mean that if you take a more technical approach and you have a good game plan and you're a great athlete / wrestler / play the levels like Godinez, this is a very winnable contest for you. And she has Andrade, no ability to then make adjustments thereafter. Like, she's just it looks to me like she's made a decision being like, okay, this is my skill set. This is my athletic ability. This is just what it's going to be. And if this wins me a fight, great. If it doesn't win me a fight, it'll win me the next one. I don't know how much I love that from her.
I'm with you on that. It has been very back and forth. We did have video. I missed it on the rundown. I see it now on Alexander Hernandez to close that book. Here is Hernandez explaining why he's been able to turn it back around and win 3 in a row.
Well, I'm in a really good mental state too right now. I had like big balls and an average sized dick when I first came in here, just like super hubris, and now I feel like I've leveled out and I've got like a good level head on my shoulders, and I know how to I know how to be in the game. You know what I'm saying? And so now I know how to I know it. I'm a vet now, and so I feel like I can execute on my plans, my words better.
Do you feel like a vet?
That was tremendous analysis. You didn't prepare me for that, Luke.
That's why I picked that one because I was like, BC's gonna love this.
Wow, what was that? I had big balls.
Big
with a
balls
small...
and an average-sized hog, something like that.
Wow, that was fantastic. So that tells that story of him coming back. I mean, he's always a fun fighter, so I want to see that. I want to see Lupe get an opportunity here to climb these rankings because beating Jessica Andrade at this point still matters.
Definitely
even
still
though
matters.
She's becoming an over 40 Dan Henderson who just stands there with the right hand cocked, she doesn't move her head. I mean, at all, Luke. After all these years and winning a championship,
Dude, I think she's given up a little bit. Like, I'm just going to be who I am, and that's what it, it is.
And
what
you're
it
going to
is.
shut up and enjoy it. Yeah, and she's still ranked, by the way. Let's go over to 39-year-old Edson Barbosa, who went in there against Drakkar Klose, and it's certainly the end of times in a lot of ways for Barbosa, but he's been coming in great shape. He's still been fighting good fighters. He had lost to Lerone Murphy by decision last time out. Only this time, Luke, he took a lot of punishment against Drakkar Klose. Were you shocked?
Edson looked bad. He looked bad. I mean, he still looks like physically, you look at him and you're like, wow, he's jacked,
I mean, he had that 2-fight win streak not too long ago when he killed Billy Q and then he beat Sadiq Youssef.
Yeah, but then, he goes down to 45 and he goes 3-3. It didn't really change his fortunes. So he comes back to 55, and Drakkar Klose is a good fighter, but it felt like, and you heard Daniel Cormier talking about it, like it just looked like Barbosa's reactions to getting hit were just, they're concerning. Dude, you look at the amount of abuse that this dude has taken in his career, and it's extraordinary. And now he's starting to move in a very lumbered way.
It's getting there.
It's getting to the end, I think, for me. So Drakkar Klose did the right thing. He had like this pressure boxing style, and it broke through. He did his job. Great win for him. But I'm a little concerned for Barbosa.
Did you side anywhere on what I thought was a pretty good women's flyweight bout with Karine Silva and Dione Barbosa, but a lot of people had issues with the scoring.
Yeah, I thought the score. How did you score that one, Long Island, Luke?
Barbosa definitely won that fight. That was pretty shocking when Karine got her hand raised, but I did have Karine by decision, so I'll take it.
Oh, on the bet? Yeah, you did the two-way hedge. Like, you like one person to win, but then you bet the other way, so no matter
you
what
just
you win.
asked me how I scored it. When I was watching it, I thought, damn, Karine lost. I lost my bet.
Oh, I see,
And
yeah.
I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah, I thought that this was I thought Barbosa looked pretty good, had some good judo, some good top control, good jab for long portions of this, some pretty good pressure throughout, but scoring was fucking weird.
Let's talk about Michal Oleksiejczuk, that middleweight. 2 fights now with the Fighting Nerds, 2 camps, and he's got 2 wins, but none more disarming than this big-time KO of GM3 Gerald Meerschaert.
Who's looking a little old, too.
Who's looking a little old. And then some guy at the post-fight press conference was like Pepper and Dana of like, you're going to make this guy retire? Is this it for him? Should he be taking shots like that? Luke, he got folded. How much of this is about Michal going to a new camp? He'd been through wars. He'd won some. He'd lost some. He does look refocused, sharper, and more dangerous.
He just looks more confident. He looks like he knows he can do more things. So it opens him up. He's not so focused on one way or the other. Is he beating guys that tell you like, oh, wow, he's completely revolutionized this game? We don't know that yet. This was a great win, a super solid name, certainly. But the ease with which he dispatched him both tells me that I feel like Oleksiejczuk has really leaned into what the Fighting Nerds have given him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like Meerschaert, again, I didn't love the body language.
No, I didn't either.
From taking punishment.
He's got like 18 losses too. Like he's been through
Meerschaert?
it. Yeah, he's been through it, dude. I may be off by 1 or 2.
37 years old, which is not a death sentence. Yeah, 37-20 he is.
Oh my God. Wow.
Jesus.
He's been through it. We got to talk in that same division though. What was the featured prelim middleweight? Baisangar Susakayev, who had won on Tuesday night's Dana White Contender Series, trains with Chimaev, got the opportunity on 4 days' notice against a very game Eric Nolan, who was in a different weight class too, and stepped up. In the end, it would be at the end of the round 2 that Baisangar would score the submission. He did get hit cleanly a few times. What do you make overall? It wasn't perfect. It was thrown together last minute. There was a lot against him, but also a lot going for him. I think overall this felt like a win to show you that this guy feels like he's a savage and he's ready to arrive.
Yeah, but he was getting tuned up a little bit by a guy who's not even a natural middleweight. He's more of a welterweight that they took.
How much were you scared by that on his future?
I wouldn't say that, oh my God, now I'm panicking about him long term, but what I would say is, hey, we're not going to do the Khamzat thing where we just rush this guy to the front, are we? Because it looks to me like he does have considerable ability, but it also looks to me like there's some things that could be tightened up and we have no need to rush him. Let's not rush him.
I agree with that, but I want to see more of him, and I want to see more of him soon. He talked about making another quick turnaround as well.
Fine, as long as it's appropriate, a level of competition,
yeah.
I'm okay with that.
I hear you on that one. Anything else you want to point to on this?
Joseph Morales won the Ultimate Fighter. Great.
Does it matter anymore?
No.
All right, there you go.
Nice
Long
win.
Island
Nice
Luke.
win. Nice
Long
win.
Island Luke, you got anything to say?
It was an upset for Joseph Morales. Also, another UFC veteran to win tough. I think that's like the second season in a row.
Yeah, that tells you the show's doing great.
I know.
Yeah, all right. Coming to Paramount very soon, probably. No, actually, it's not. That in the Dana White Contender Series do not have.
And we don't know about Road to UFC.
Do not have TV homes. Did you hear that? Did I hear accurately that Paramount chose to pay more to not have to take a power slap? I think I actually heard that.
They're like, we hate that so fucking much. We're going to give you money to stop asking
dude, if
us about
that's
it.
true, like, hell yeah.
Yeah, dude, nobody wants that shit.
Hell yeah.
Nobody
Let's go,
wants that
right?
shit.
Wow. Loved it. All right, topic number 5. Hey, the heavyweight division has a new hope, certainly, in 20-year-old Moses Itauma, who stepped up his level of competition aggressively in the form of 37-year-old Dillian White in just his 13th pro fight. But now we will continue to have this discussion of, is he ready? Should he go for it all now with undisputed champion Alexander Usyk? Because it took less than one round, and the ease in which Moses Itauma hurt Dillian White, backed him into the ropes, and then was both patient and aggressive at the same time somehow, and just how he lit up White with combinations, dropped him once. White stumbled upon beating the 10 count, fell into the ropes, and the fight was waved off. Luke Thomas, I know there's always going to be that cynical part of boxing Twitter, and they were out there saying, well, yeah, White was old and stop fighting bums, like what, blah, blah, blah. I don't know how that is your reaction. I know we don't know yet about the chin, about the 12-round stamina, about all that stuff. I'm not saying it has to be Usyk next, but are you not entertained? Are you not excited? This kid is a phenom offensively.
He's the Tom Aspinall of heavyweight boxing, except he doesn't put his chin in the air. He's much craftier. He is much, dude. I watched this fight. I turned it on because I was actually in my office, and then I saw on Twitter they're like, oh, they're doing ring walks now. So I pulled the fight up, and I'm watching this, dude. I cannot overstate to you the ease with which he dispatched Dillian White. Not just when you can see like, oh, he landed 2 punches. CompuBox says 2 punches that White landed, and then of course that it only went a couple of minutes basically. But I'm just saying, when you watch him, he would effortlessly feint, dude. Here, can I say this about Moses Itauma? People are like, oh, you have to feint to set something up. But not everyone, like feinting itself is a skill.
Yeah.
You have to sell it. And there's a level of salesmanship in how good you can make it. Dude, the salesmanship, you had White looking at that, bringing his hands all the way down.
Because the combos are so fast
It's
when
so
they do
fast.
land.
And he's able to take these like big, hard steps because he's athletically can shift his weight back and forth. So of course you think it's coming. And then, dude, here's the other part too. He'll do that, get a reaction, go to the body, and then get a tiny reaction, and then build off that immediately. So he's able to make immediate reads and build. He's the best heavyweight prospect in all of combat sports by a million miles. He's fucking awesome.
He is so dynamic offensively. It's ridiculous.
It's effortless.
It seems like at least 75% of his combos have a body shot in it. Sometimes he leads with it. Sometimes it ends with it.
Yep.
So he is constantly leaving you perplexed, where he is going to have a chance to knock out early a ton of elite heavyweights. So like, that's the real question of like, how much is too much too soon? For all the talk coming in about Usyk after the win, Itauma, it wasn't like he said he doesn't want it. He kept saying the fans can decide. And then he said like, look, he reiterated that Joseph Parker and Ajit Kabayel are more deserving, but he's willing to enter the negotiation and put his name in the hat. But then you started to hear his team, particularly coach Ben Davison, who's still just 28 himself, by the way, and has already coached Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua in big-time heavyweight championship fights. Luke, now they're talking about, well, we would actually like him to get some rounds first. They mentioned Jermaine Franklin, a veteran in this division who lost to Dillian White a couple fights ago, that potentially could give him rounds. Some people are thinking Derek Chisora, a lot of names being thrown around. Deontay Wilder. What do you do here? He wants it and is willing to fight Usyk. Has he proved that he's ready? No. Is Usyk the maybe the only one that could really, really exploit and expose him? Hard to say, because we've never seen him pass 6 rounds as a pro, and now 11 of his 13 fights in total have not gotten out of round 2. So what do you do?
Here's the plan.
It's an attraction fight. Turkey wants it. He came out afterwards.
Turkey's saying a bunch of bullshit. There is no good reason to make the Usyk fight, except you just want to rush a guy because he is brilliant and he is interesting. But the notion that like you can just put him in front of Usyk and listen, Itauma is dangerous enough where I think he, on the right day and the right moment, he could potentially beat any heavyweight in the world. However, the risk you could run with him getting tuned up by Usyk over the course of, 6 rounds or more is also real, and it makes no sense to do that. He needs a class of heavyweight guys who are young enough just to give him rounds, BC. And then,
so not even let's not even go Dubois level.
I would not even go Dubois level. Yes,
the next
give me
step on the.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I know that the pressure is all there to rush him because you've got, oh my God, you can tell what the future is going to be. Keep him busy, but give him the right names. Give him heavyweights that can push him past 6 and really make him have to lean on it and earn it. That's what he needs.
Mike Tyson's rise taught you that, because there were actually guys that pushed him to 10 and 12 rounds where you're like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, he can't beat Mike Tyson's record for the youngest heavyweight. That's 20 years and 4 months. Itauma will be 21 in December. So I get what you're saying. There's no need to rush it. What about somewhere in between? What about Big Bang Zhang?
You could do it.
But you may not get rounds anyway. You may.
Yeah, I mean, he might do. The speed difference between him and Bang is going to be significant.
Big Bang, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to bang them. They're going to have sex.
Damn, I cannot believe
gonna have
the
sex,
ease.
Brian.
Let's go to some videos here. First, we have Itauma's father laughing. Is this what we?
Yeah, you got to listen to this. Listen to this shit.
The man responsible, or is it mum? It's a joint venture. Can I ask you a question as well?
Can you recreate that, please?
Oh.
Yo, how about the Warlock, right? My guy.
Yeah, he's weird.
Dude, come on.
I love him, but he's weird.
Imagine if he was like our sidekick. You know how like Inside the NBA eventually brought on Shaq, and we're like, well, work with the chemistry.
He is. Let me tell you something. I've had to take car rides with Garrett.
Yeah, they're wild.
He is a close talker, and he will share details you absolutely did not ask for.
Here is Moses Itauma himself reacting to this win, talking about the future.
Because you know what, like, a lot of people think that I want to be a superstar. A lot of people think that I like the bright lights. Like, I just like being a boxer. It's something that I've always done. I've been doing it since I was 9 years old. So if I don't do it, I feel out of place. I don't feel comfortable in myself. So I'm not doing it to be a superstar or whatnot. Even Michael Buffer came up to me. He came up to me after the fight. He said, Wembley next. I was like, I'm not bothered whether I fight in Wembley, York or whatnot. I just know that I need to box. I know that I need to do it. If not, then I don't feel comfortable in myself.
All right, I don't need the Usyk fight next, but I do wonder what Turkey's hard on for it will mean. Can Frank Warren talk him out of it if that's not? I don't even want Jermaine Franklin because I don't think Franklin can win that fight. I would want an in-between where you're like, okay, if this person does push him to round 6, 7, 8, then at least we're learning something here. You know?
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be Franklin.
I don't want Wilder. Wilder's going to get...
Well, that's a terrible... He'll fucking smoke Wilder. Yeah, somebody who can push him a little is what you need. That's it.
Otto Wallin?
I'd take that.
Even though AJ sent him to the deepest, darkest
I'd take that.
depths of
Take that. He also he's a bit chinny, and this is going to have a speed problem. So I don't know.
Here's promoter Frank Warren of Queensberry talking about what could be next.
It was a statement. You know, nobody's ever done that to Dillian. And you look at the fighters he's been with over the years. You look at the condition he come in at. He was very confident. And you know, even when you look at his losses, they've been into real good quality fighters, world championship fights. And look at the hard fights he's given people, the fights he's won.
Eyes.
And then you look at this 20-year-old who got in there and just done something special. And I'm going to say something now that, at his age and the amount of fights he's had, he's the best talent.
Right?
You're calling him reptilian? Is that what's
not
going
exactly
on here?
that, but he's got these bug eyes. Like, it's like, dude, I think you need a good night's sleep, my man.
Yeah, then you can figure out who's next. But hey, breakthrough win for Itauma. Let's keep him busy. Let's keep this coming. Let's transition now from our 5 topics to you, the fan, because every Sunday night at Morning Kombat on X and the IG, we give you an opportunity to potentially be heard, especially if your name is Flannels and Jits. Or Daz, when you used to mahalo our ass. Hey, this one's called DMs from the Diggity Donks. Yeah. Wait, that sounds like forced masturbation, doesn't it?
That sounds like me when I get on xhamster.com.
Don't get on anywhere, please. Let's hear the first question. Here we got Ursia from Flannels and Jits. Yes, that guy's got great jiu-jitsu, Luke. Do you think someone like Craig Jones will be able to have a good strategy to counteract Khamzat's grappling?
Yep. I'm telling you, the fact that DDP spent all of these times stuck in control positions is going to give people like Craig Jones, and not just him, but others, a sense of just reverse engineer. What do you do to have to prevent this? And what do you have to do once you're here to get to some kind of next place that you have to be? They're going to figure it out. I'm telling you.
What if Ankalaev beats Pereira in the rematch? Do you not see Chimaev looking to?
I think Ankalaev mops up Chimaev.
Mops up is an aggressive way to say
I don't
it.
think Chimaev can win 3 rounds against him. No.
And do you think it's likely the UFC would allow him to go to welterweight? No, they want to protect Ilya Islam like they should, right?
Yeah, I mean, right now Islam, dude, Islam is their top guy in many respects, and I think they're gonna give him some.
Would you argue that Chimaev's best potential blockbuster fight is Pereira if he wins back the 205?
I think the biggest one he's got now is honest Strickland, probably. But like in terms of like a real threat to him.
Yeah, but also a fight with real meaning. Him trying to become a 2-division champion. Not that I'm saying you should do it soon. Middleweight's very
I don't know. I think Ankalaev might win. Well, I guess we'll see. I don't know what's going to happen.
All right.
With
What
Ankalaev.
else you
I
got
don't know.
here?
I don't know.
No Cedar. Let's hear from this person, Amand and his cat. He says, why does it seem that so many fighters in this generation have an issue coming from other promotions to the UFC? We talked about it recently from the Bellator PFL guys, but history has shown mixed results across the board in all of the mergers, as you said earlier.
Yeah, but also like, multiple champions came from the Strikeforce merger. Multiple champions came from the WEC merger.
Would you say the UFC, like New York City, is just a melting pot of different cultures coming together? And different backgrounds?
Yes, although New York less racist than MMA culture, but which is amazing if you think about it.
Yeah, that is true.
But I would just say that again, I think that because UFC is in a different place than it was 11. No, the Strikeforce merger was what? Like, I mean, basically 13,
12.
14 years ago?
Yeah,
a long time ago. MMA was in a different place at that time. And I just think now you're just getting much more of the championship caliber kind of pooling in and around UFC. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was on a car ride to the Mohegan Sun to cover a Bellator card when that news broke.
Which one?
The UFC
the
purchasing Strikeforce.
I just got out of the shower and I looked at my phone and I was like, what the fuck?
That's funny because you've always said of all the things that happened in your life, you always remember where you were in 2 spots. When UFC bought Strikeforce and 9/11, unfortunately.
I was in my college dorm room. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't mean to bring down the mood.
Unit E.
I really didn't.
On the row.
We'll get, yeah. I think I have good shit for today. So only you can judge that. I mean, I've been on fire lately.
Fire is a strong word.
All right.
You've won a couple rounds.
Let's see the next DM from Pentameter 9. As someone in attendance, I thought that this card overall was great. Crazy and plentiful matchups. A very hype crowd. I'll give them that. The main event was a letdown, but a major sea change. What is your pick for card of the year so far? I'm assuming he means in the UFC pay-per-view.
That's a question for Long Island Luke. I don't know what the answer to that would be. What is
it? Gotta be IFW 317. That card was bangers. I was camping. I watched it the next day.
You're right. That was Ilya and Charles.
Yeah.
What was the co-main on that? I can't process.
Ikara and Pantoja.
Yeah. What was the other attraction on that?
Peyton Talbot, Diego Lima.
That was good.
Josh Van, Brandon Royval.
That was really good.
Oh, yes. Okay, that fight.
On what
yes, I was in the studio in Stanford on HQ for that fight like I was last night.
Was
and
sick.
I remember just feeling that, like, if the fights can all be, if the cards can be like that. Yeah, that was it.
And then Ilya came and just fucking lowered the boom.
But Saturday was good.
Yeah, I think the main event was a letdown, but he's right. I think overall the card was pretty great. Yeah.
Yeah, well done there. We've got another one from the DMs. This is from Stephen Armitt. Stephen Armitt, age 89, or Stephen Armitage, or Stephen Armpit. I'm not really sure. Who laid the bigger egg? Cyril Gane versus Jones, or Dillian White versus Itauma? Wow, that's pretty close here.
Gane.
Gane was more self-induced.
Gane just looked helpless by making bad choices. White looked helpless at the, in front of a pack of wolves. You know what I mean? Like,
I love when Dana's retelling history and he's like, John Jones just beat the baddest heavyweight active alive in Cyril Gane. He'd always like throw that extra line in.
Yeah, no, Gane's decision making is poor. White was just, he had no chance.
Yeah.
Just seeing what Itauma did to him, it's like you were never gonna win this fucking fight, man.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Our final DM question comes from a donk named Taekwondo.
No, Taekwondo dude memes.
Taekwondo dude memes. I mean, it's hard to figure these out, Luke. It is kind of hard. Why do MMA fans get so defensive when people point out that some cards are absolute nubs? Fans of the other sports I follow are always quick to declare some games as bad and don't lose fan status. Is that because fans of those sports sometimes aren't concerned with the trajectory of the sport as much? Because sometimes in the fight game, like you are, even as a promotion, only as good as your last few cards. Sometimes, right?
Fight sports will always occupy a place where the degree to which they entertain you will hold more importance than they will in other sports. It's simply the reality. In other sports, particularly ones where there are points involved, you know, the amount that is paid to just, did you get the dub? Did you not get the dub? These are the things that they really count. Combat sports is an entertainment business. It's real sport, but it's an entertainment business. And there's just always going to be more focus on to what degree was the audience entertained. Your answers will vary. It will matter more to some, less to others. But that general concern is always going to be higher here. There you go.
Still, we could use a few more American champions and a few more.
It would be nice,
champions.
wouldn't it?
You know, I mean, I think you can say both things. You can, you know.
You know what's one thing we didn't discuss about in the UFC Paramount thing I was thinking about? The UFC will hold pay-per-views, for example, on occasion in the UK. And they will, obviously, in October, go to Abu Dhabi. But they've been holding them for the majority of their existence. They've been holding nearly all of the pay-per-views in the United States or Canada because that was your number one pay-per-view buying audience in the U.S. and in North America more broadly. But if you're getting rid of them, why can't you just take your numbered events to anywhere that you want?
I wonder if the starting time matters.
Starting time is always going to be a limiting factor, but you know, you are freed from one big limiting factor, which is you don't care if this sells pay-per-views.
Yeah, but when Mark Shapiro is saying publicly that they want to simulcast every event on CBS, that could
every numbered event.
Excuse me, I meant that, and then that could really change. That could stunt the growth of that.
Yeah, a little bit of a mixed messaging between he and Dana White. Dana White, like, oh yeah, 1 a quarter, and
I wonder if Dana just wasn't briefed up to the speed that he needed.
I know people think that Dana's the one in charge, and I'm like,
that's also a major part.
I'm not sure how true that is anymore.
Indeed. Those are your DMs for the week. Hopefully,
now you have talked a gang of shit.
I didn't talk a gang of shit.
You texted me yesterday. You were like, "Yo, bro, wait until you motherfucking see this batch."
That is not what I did. Mention I had a good batch though.
I had no breachers all weekend.
Seriously sharing that with me right now? It's so disgusting. I scoured the globe on yesterday for the highs and lows, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the in-between in the world of combat sports and beyond. This is a long one, but I hope it gets a good reaction from Luke. It's called, Have You Seen My Shit, Colonel? Yeah, hoo-ah, somebody's drinking. Hey, big weekend for Daniel Cormier. Luke, he got carried like a baby, not once, but twice by Khamzat Chimaev in public.
You know, it's so funny, though. I saw people being like, wow, it's really strong of Khamzat to do that to a 350-pound man.
I mean...
And I'm like, guys, DC's a little fat, but he's not 350.
I don't know. We'll get into that in a second. Here's the second time with DC commenting over video of it when they were clowning him for it on the UFC weigh-in show.
Can we talk about how Chimaev swung you around like a little baby this week?
Lifted your feet up in the air?
That was terrifying.
Oh my God!
Is he that strong?
He's one of the easily stronger than you. He's one of the strongest human beings I've ever felt in my life.
Did you jump up or did you sag your hips?
He just picked me up. Watch him
sag your hips.
I try to drop.
Yeah,
Look at
you're
that.
sagging your hips and still. Woo!
Hey.
Bro, why'd you spread your legs like that in the air?
I thought to myself,
you're dancing.
You're like, hey, dog.
You just went with.
That weigh-in show is the best thing that they do other than the fights.
Funny. It is very,
so
very funny. Here's the hilarious tweet here from Super Kalo. In fact, Chimaev picking up Cormier is more impressive than Hogan slamming Andre the Giant statistically from WrestleMania 3. If Chimaev is 180 or Chimney is 185.
You know, Super Cal is like a big troll account, right?
Oh yeah, it's great.
Okay.
And Cormier 350. That's a 255-pound difference. But look, the numbers don't lie. Hogan 302 pounds. Andre 500. Look at that. That is much more.
Yeah.
By the way, Hogan would change the story every time over the years and say he tore his bicep. Then the next story would be he tore his back all the way down.
Do you know what that C4 tasted like? Rather,
what?
It tasted like how much it tasted like how much Hulk Hogan loves the N-word. That's how much it tasted like.
All right. DC
kind of gross.
Also helped produce the soundbite of the week for this segment when he got Chimaev to say this.
Well, look at me, but look at me. Look at my face. Look at your face. This beautiful black skin, caramel. Your skin, Chechnyan. Not beautiful like mine.
Don't need to be beautiful.
What you need to be? World champion?
Girls like terrorists.
You're so crazy. You can't say that. Okay.
I was joking, bro.
I know you are.
Okay, that was a good one. That was a zinger.
That was a decent line.
That was pretty.
He did. By the
decent.
way, he shouted out. Did you see? He didn't shout out Kadyrov by name, but he shouted out the Kadyrov gym by name.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Dude, Kadyrov's going to be cage side one of these times with Trump.
It's
and
just a matter of time.
pretty wild.
Yeah.
Here's also DC getting a little sus with Jaron Cannonier on the scale.
Looks great for
It
41.
does.
What is going on
if I had a body like Jared Cannonier, I would put oil on me before I go weigh in. I just have oil all over my body.
Is that
and
before or
it's
after
shiny.
you leave Annex room?
I would
Yeah. That's a great point.
hey, Stan, I would hit the weigh-in stage and just slide on my stomach.
P. Diddy
Put
in
lotion
here,
on
you
me.
would.
All right, 315 at least. Right, all right. Also, DC got sent to hell on social media by Jack Della Maddalena. Did you see this?
No.
The only way KO, the pay-per-view company in Australia, can redeem themselves is with a DC mute button.
You know what?
JDM.
People. He produces big reactions, and I have to say, out of all my problems with the various UFC commentators, I don't share a lot of the negative DC sentiment.
He's hilarious.
I like him as a whole usually, but the last two cards he said, "Oh, that's not even under. That's not even
Yeah, but
tight."
him and
they
Joe-
tapped a second later.
I'm
and
not.
then,
Listen, one second. I'm not making an argument that there are not legitimate
Him
criticisms.
and
to
Joe
make.
do that all the time.
Him and Joe have they suck helium and have goofball hour on there, and also he didn't know capoeira was an actual martial art.
Yeah, that was.
And I was like, holy fuck, that's kind of bad. You don't know that, but I think there's a lot of going after him that I don't support.
That was like the ESPN lady with the Barry Sanders jersey. That was rough as well. Let's keep it going here. Speaking of fat fellas, listen to this.
Did you ever play hide and seek? Yeah, as a kid, yeah. I mean, how did that go? You're right.
Well done right there.
That's that dude Matan.
Yeah,
he's fucking hilarious.
Luke, here's a preview of you trying to navigate your new e-bike with your now that you're a member of Thick Boys Bike Bros or
All
whatever
right,
we're calling them.
All right. What's he doing here? Okay, what are you doing?
Oh! Your tires that big, Luke?
They're thicker than a normal tire, but they're not like that.
Okay. Luke, you know how much I love soccer. Finally, someone telling the truth.
Like you have interesting taste. That is.
Despite a 29-year effort by the MLS, soccer has never broken into the mainstream in the United States, instead being far outpaced by the NFL and their $18 billion yearly profit. It's because soccer's...
Dog, do you think you're cool for not liking soccer?
I mean, I didn't.
Serious question. Do you think that makes you cool?
Finally, someone spoke up, Luke.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're not cool for that. I hope you know that.
Luke, it's time for regional combat sports where, of course,
anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Let's go to Tom Loeffler's 360 promotions. Watch this little piece of business between Aston Pelikte and Abel Mejia. They both go down, but watch Mejia here after he
Is he
rises.
gonna rally? Okay. Putting it on him here.
Yeah.
Well, these are nice.
And he would get him out of there right after.
Shit!
They both would go down. We also saw a banger with that Philip Ergovich fight on the DAZN undercard.
I
Did you
missed
see
that one. No.
They both went down in round 8, and Ergovich got up to
What
stop
about
him.
Itauma versus Ergovich?
That's a decent idea. That is a
Ergovich
decent
can box
idea.
a little bit.
A little bit, but not as yeah. Okay. Let's go over to RXF MMA and please don't mess with this referee. Okay, yeah. That's
Like a drunk at a bar,
That's
dude.
bouncer style,
Dude, when the
dude.
ref says fucking stop, they mean
Yes.
it.
Luke, now we mix together the unknown of regional MMA with some elder abuse. Watch this fight. I don't think we need senior MMA.
Let me see that one more time. We'll play that shit. CTE Society, no less.
Good Lord. Wow. All right, now we can transition into some actual.
He probably got paid nothing for that since they're wearing shin pads. That means
Probably.
it's amateur.
Here's some bonus elder abuse.
What's on the card? Let's see. It says, I've taken 4 shits today. That's what I sent you earlier.
I know. It's the same level of harassment. I mean, this lady's day is going to be changed from knowing that now in a bad way. Luke, new game alert. Are you ready? I show you the way someone acts in a clip. You tell me if it's lame, game, or Hall of Fame. Okay. So there's levels to this. Here's their first guy in the elevator.
Are you guys going up?
Yes.
I have something for you.
Is he gonna fart on this?
Oh, you stupid. I gave you something.
No, you're getting one more.
You're not gonna lose.
Lame.
Lame? Come on, that's at least game right there. No,
You do that to your friends, not fucking strangers.
you do it to the first class section of every airplane.
Okay, that is class politics, and I should be commended for it.
All right, let's go to the concert, Luke. Bring a pit stick. Make sure that these disgusting people.
Okay, that's game.
Okay,
That's game.
I'm actually.
That's Hall of Fame.
It's game. It's not Hall of Fame, but I'll play ball with that one.
All right, rate this guy's lame gamer Hall of Fame rating. Going to get 4 meat rockets and a dipping plate filled with mustard.
That's Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and he's sweating while ordering.
Look at this man. He is ready to die for these glizzies. That's what I'm talking about.
All right, we go to Washington, D.C. Excuse me for this one, Luke. Lame
right.
gamer Hall of Fame as the cops walk in on this guy.
Motherfucker! Oh, the sandwich thrower?
Oh, yeah.
Here's a $5 footlong, bitch.
Maybe he's just protesting Jared
Dude, there are people protesting the cops now in the city carrying baguettes.
Motherfucker!
No, just like he became a symbol of resistance.
So is that? What do you think? You got to rate him here.
That's a Hall of Fame.
Oh,
Hall
yeah.
of Fame. They charged him with a fucking felony for that, by the way.
I'm not surprised. One more. Here's the Yankees security guard.
Oh, hell yeah. Hall of motherfucking Fame.
He's keeping us safe.
That's same
Luke,
as
you know?
me, brother.
Yeah,
Same as me.
indeed. All right, let's circle back to UFC 319. We got a nice Chama flex in the crowd. Rate that tat, his right bicep, Luke.
That's a 4 out of 10.
Okay. You all right with this?
I mean, here's the thing. Obviously, becoming a champ and getting the belt tattooed, it conceptually sounds good, but the execution of that is real ass. So,
Okay. Mr. McMahon, during his run as ECW champion, when he would drop the N-word, Luke, I mean, pro wrestling's just absurd, right?
he did?
Oh, you don't know that famous clip to John Cena? It was
No.
like, what's up, my...
My N-word?
Yeah. It was part of the storyline, apparently, Luke.
Dude, WWE is a gross-ass company, isn't it?
Yeah, okay. Speaking of the weigh-in show, they had John Anik play F, Marry, Kill. I think you'll like this.
You have Brian Stan, you have Daniel Cormier, and you have Dominic Cruz. You know the game, F, Marry, Kill. Let's go.
John, kill
So
me.
I
I'll
have to
make
have
a
sex
sacrifice.
with
one of these gentlemen here?
Yeah, I mean, theoretically speaking. Let's say stranded on a desert island.
So, I mean, I'm definitely marrying Brian Stan. I think that goes without saying. We
He
just
probably
have
not
to
gonna cheat
have
on you. That's a good husband.
A platonic relationship, though, Stan, because I do not want to sleep with you.
That's right.
You know, DC be too hard. DC be too hard to kill. You know, so I think I try to kill Cruz, and DC will have our one night stand and move on with it.
Let's go. It'll be a night full of passion.
You guys, man, of all the questions I expected here today, yes, this is the biggest fight of the year, our main event.
my God.
I did not expect to have to sleep with DC.
This is a different weigh-in show than what I did 8 years ago.
Yeah, it is. Oh, yeah.
Hey, DC, room 1802.
Well played by Anik right there, dude.
And
And to
he's the
get
man.
Stan back, is he going to be announcing fights?
I would love for him to
was
be back.
really
I don't know.
good.
He has another job still. I don't know. But
That was awesome to see right there. All right, I lost my spot in it. Let's keep the fun going here. Here we go. If we put a punch bag machine, where you rate your power, you'll usually end up in this segment.
No.
Beat it, yes! I'm feeling solid, come around here, I feel like I can chew someone, I feel like I'm going to chew some lady, watch this.
what the fuck?
What? Is that a skin? Is that AI? What happened right there?
Dude, are you showing me fucking
I don't know.
domestic violence?
I don't know what that was. Oh, hey, it's time for your question of the week. Let's go to Rick Ross on the
It's a
radio.
little uncomfortable.
I have another question. You won't mind me asking?
Go ahead.
You don't mind?
No, I'm a lip service person, so.
Okay, I like the way that sounds. But are you a squirter?
Oh, I tried to ask that in an HR meeting one time, and they didn't like that,
You seen that shit? Let's go to some rugby or Aussie rules football. I don't know, but apparently they do double oil changes in this game.
It's Aussie rules, baby.
This is some Aussie rules. Watch. Okay,
Dude, this is how you were conceived.
I mean, what is this playing a little ass grab in the park with touch butt? Look,
Yeah.
what is this? Oh my god!
Dude, in Australia, I don't know if you know this, they jack off each other to males will jack off each other as a greeting. That's a true story.
Okay.
That's a true story.
Wow,
That
that's
happens.
wild. Let's go to this meme.
Okay.
All right.
Dude,
We're just,
I just want to point out. I just want to point out that half of the humor on this segment is violence against women.
I mean, it randomly became that today, but it's not a typical.
It's a little. I got to tell you, it's a little much.
All right. Hey, this week in facials, let's go to the soccer
Nothing
pitch.
beats a Jet 2 holiday.
But it didn't stop there, Luke. Let's go to the sidelines.
That was insane.
Let's go to NFL practice. Watch out, Pam Oliver.
Oh, here it is. Backup quarterback. Chandler Harnish throws, and Pam Oliver, wham. Let me tell you, that ball was
flush, right?
Okay. Are you okay at home?
I'm trying to make.
Are you and the wife having problems at home? What the fuck are you making me watch here today?
Let's go to the golf course and see. I think you have to yell 4 for this, Luke.
Good solid contact.
Right to the pebbles, Luke. Wow, that is great.
That's why they call it Pebble Beach.
Indeed. All right, we got to cleanse the palate here. It's been a little rough here. Let's go to Cake Lady. What do you got for us this week?
Oh, God! Yo, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh my!
Yeah, why don't you just eat the chair, you fucking goat? You Billy goat. Are you going to eat the trash too, you unbelievable skank?
Okay, that's very aggressive. All right. The only thing that can save us from that are crowd fights, Luke. Let's go over to the high level of the upper deck here.
Bro, it ain't worth it, bro. It ain't worth it. Hey.
People fighting other people from elevated positions.
Didn't we learn in episode 3 of Star Wars?
This seems like a bad idea. Brother.
Dude, Obi-Wan had the high ground for a reason. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, again, it's like shooting fish in a barrel trying to attack someone from an elevated position.
Let's go to the Los Angeles Angels crowd. I'm not sure what they started with, but here's how it finished. Oh my God. Soccer kicks too? Dude, this is nuts today, right? Oh,
dude, why did they let Raiders fans into the game?
I don't know. Let's flash back to my favorite MMA interview of all time.
Is it heavy? It is heavy. Can I touch it? Absolutely. Go ahead. Let me get on my tippy toes. You got it? Yes, I think that's enough.
I don't think that's how that interview actually went.
One more for you. Here's Grandma.
You know that phone smells atrocious.
Come on.
You know that she whipped that phone out and immediately you were like, "Wow, I didn't know we were at the wharf."
I think this segment has just run its course today. I think we found the limits.
Well, you're like, here, we're just going to look at murders of women on the side of the road.
I mean, I'm trying to be non-gender specific. Everyone can get it.
I think you need one more pass with the editor on that one.
Well, so North Korea did approve that. That's all the shit we.
It's amazing what the North Korean censors will approve and what they won't approve.
Well, they were against murdering for a while, but whew. All right, you can buy our merch, by the way, morningcombat.shop. Morningcombat.shop. There you go. Exclusives for the end of August here. They're going to be there until they end. 2 more signed posters left if you want that on your wall. Super Wash Dads. Don't forget about the August exclusives of Vaping is for Closers. And Average Joe Art presents Morning Combat Beavis and Butthead. Great stuff. Evergreen content on morningcombat.shop. And remember, mix and match the color choices to your liking or the liking of your children. And to make the show more kid-friendly, maybe we should clean up that segment.
Do we have kids watching this show?
I hope not.
I don't think we do.
Do we have wives? I hope not.
I don't know if you're going to have a wife after this show.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Long Island Luke of the Main Card Minute fame.
Prop quiz.
Prop quiz fame. Check out that episode of Luke and I on Prop Quiz, the new Main Card Minute vehicle. What can the people expect from you for the rest of your life?
You can expect a new episode of Prop Quiz, hopefully later in the week. Contender Series watch along tomorrow, bet breakdowns,
dude,
and Saturday. Dedicated. Also, how about this for dedication? Saturday, that Shanghai card, 3 a.m. start. You know I'm doing the full card. Let's go.
Bro.
Those prelims are actually good. Look at those
you're
prelims.
Waking up.
You know what he's not doing? Getting married. I can
if
tell
it's
you that.
3 a.m., you must be lonely, all right? You know what I mean?
She said baby.
Yeah, baby. He's cornering the market.
How long have you dated this girl?
7 years.
Oh.
How long have you been living together?
3 years, 4 years.
And what is she saying about
there's a lot of time committed.
The next step.
You know, we're in discussions, Luke. You know, things will happen. Things are moving.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
7-year girlfriend.
That's quite an itch. What do you think about him cornering the market of lower end MMA? Nobody is going to beat this guy to live streaming this stuff.
Yeah, there's a reason.
Are you going to live stream tough too?
No, I will say Gaff's also helping me corner the market. Gaff did PFL on Friday. Even I didn't.
Liz Carmouche won.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Liz Carmouche for that win. So she wins the tournament at women's, what was that?
Flyweight.
Flyweight? Okay.
And Alfie Davis got a big upset against Gadzi Rabadanov.
Yeah, he beat him out of nowhere. It was like a plus 2,000 underdog, something insane number.
Interesting.
And he got the job done.
What's next for PFL? Do they have more divisions that have yet to have the tournament final?
I mean, the only one I'm really counting on is, I know they must have some more, but the one I'm counting on is the rematch.
So that's October 3rd.
Yeah, the Nurmagomedov and Paul Hughes rematch.
What do you think about Corey O.T. Anderson, friend of the program, in the co-main for the PFL light heavyweight title against Davletsson
Yagshimuradov. He should win that one, and big shouts to Corey. He's a good dude who's waited his turn for some.
What room was he the beast in?
He was beast in 25-7. No, wait, no, 25-8. 25-8. I'm sorry. What am I saying? 24-7.
What college was that at?
I don't know. Whatever college, they don't do math. I don't know. Oh, you're gonna beast 24/7? I'm gonna beast 25.
Wow, there you go.
Get that through your head.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for watching today. I hope that you'll watch us again this Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern time, for a remote episode as we set the stage for UFC. Where's that card specifically this weekend? It's
Shanghai.
Shanghai. I like the co-main more than the main. I'm here for Brian Ortega versus Aljo.
Yeah, the main event I don't really give a shit about.
Johnny Walker against what's that guy's Yang?
Ming Yang.
The what is he? The snow tiger, the snow leopard. What is it?
Yeah, one of those.
Something
Mountain
like
tiger.
that. Mountain tiger, something like that.
You can follow our social handles there. Please like and subscribe to this video if you are a supporter of what we do. It does help us make advances. Please, we like to make advances on people. That's about all I can produce for today, Luke.
I'm a little bit scarred by that last segment. I'm going to be honest with you.
The art on this show is meant to move you, but there's never a guarantee that it will move you in the direction you think coming in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hope you recover.
Yeah, that was more violent than some of the pornography that you watched.
Well, so what was the point of no return? The soccer kick in the crowd or Pam Oliver?
I think the guy just turning around after the punch machine and being like, "I'm just going to assault this random woman."
That seems to be
a skit.
A skit, yes. I mean I don't think that could happen. Well, it could happen, but I don't think I don't think it's getting out there as like a
soccer kick at the Angels game was not great. I give that an A-.
I mean, Cake Lady coming out this week with the toes was something.
I'm going to fly to wherever she's from and have a word with her.
Do you think she would accept an offer to be on the show as a guest, or would that you would probably?
I've called her bad names.
Yeah,
I don't know.
All right. Hey, that's all we got for you today. For Long Island Luke and LT, I'm the BC.
How many dildos are in that bag?
Thank you for playing. I will now return home finally after this. I got to jump on the train, Osborne style. We out. Yeah.